The Microsoft ecosystem is evolving faster than ever. Copilot, Power Platform, security, modern work, Azure AI, new features every week, new opportunities every day. But learning is scattered. Events are expensive, limited, and difficult to access. That changes now. Welcome to M365 Con, the world's largest online Microsoft 365 convention. 2 powerful weeks, 1 week of workshops, 1 week of free global talks and keynotes. Build your own learning path with expert-led workshops. From Power Platform to security, from Copilot to Azure AI, you choose what matters to you. Then join over 60 free sessions with most valuable professionals, Microsoft trainers, architects, and innovators from around the world. Meet the community, explore the virtual expo, connect with experts, and be part of a global Microsoft experience. Accessible, global, interactive, and designed for every Microsoft 365 professional. M365 Con, your community, your learning path, your Microsoft 365 future.
Hello and a warm welcome to the M365 Con again. Today with the second part of a Copilot and Copilot Studio stage. Today here with me, Giuliano de Luca, a warm welcome to you. This topic today is navigating the area of M365 AI agents from Copilot to enterprise scale agent ecosystems. Warm welcome to you. You could start. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Marcel. And thank you for doing an amazing job in putting all this crazy content together in this amazing conference, and to the organizer, of course, also this. It's really awesome to learn also from other sessions. Okay, let's start our journey with the navigation through the era of M365 and about agents and how AI is transforming our daily work, I would say. So let's move on. A few words about me. So I am Giuliano De Luca, an M365 solution architect working at BMW at the moment. Here you can find my LinkedIn profile if you want to stay in touch with me. And very important, I have also my YouTube channel here. It's since COVID, I started to take care of this channel, and I'm very active there, posting content about the latest news, what is coming in the context of M365, Azure, and all topics related, and also providing tips and tricks. So it would be nice and good if you want to give it a try. Here the QR code and the link as well to my YouTube channel. It's for free. So if you find something useful, I think it's could be beneficial for your routine and job. I have been awarded several times as a Microsoft 365 MVP. I am now 9 years in the program. It's awesome for me because it's a very great opportunity to stay in touch with the community, share the things that I know, my experience, lesson learned, and also the most important thing, it's learn from others also. This is the meaning and the spirit of community. Okay, let's move with the very first slide, I would say, of this session, and this is the agenda. This is what I will cover in this session. So basically, the idea is to talk a bit more about the transition since Copilot have been released, how we are accelerating in a very short time and turning corners and seeing crazy things happening, like the agentic era, which it's happening now. It's not the future. It's something that is really happening, and companies should be really prepared in terms of governance and compliance to rule the agents. Microsoft made an estimation in 2028 we are going to have 8 billion agents. So it's crazy how the number of agents is evolving and increasing. So it's really important to have a look on that. And this is a very big wave. I would say a tsunami. Nobody can stop. But it's better to know what it's coming, and it's better also to be prepared and how we can move in this scenario and context. I'll show you also the key AI technologies that Microsoft offers to us, and very important. I'd like to share also what Microsoft announced during Ignite, just to mention a couple of them: WorkIQ and Agent 365. So these are, for my opinion, very important to get more familiar with AI and agents. Then there is another focal and important aspects. We have seen previous sessions mentioning already this governance and how we can have good compliance in our organization, how we can rule agents, and how we can increase and enhance the security of our data. And then finally, we will also have a look about how beneficial is having a strategic implementation about governance, monitoring, permission, and approval workflow in publishing and deploy agents, and how they should be visible inside the organization, and more, like, for example, the tool chain to use, when to use what. And these are all the things that we will touch in this session. So a very first look about the evolution from assistants to agents. So this is what happened, and it's happening for agents. So we have seen Microsoft several years ago rolling out Copilot, which works as an assistant. So we are used to have this assistant in M365, which is great because it helps to get very many information just typing a short question or just adding some description. But not only in this context and for end users or managers, but also for more specific roles like developers, IT admins. So even when you have to create something, a design or a strategy, so you can ask Copilot if Copilot can bring you some content, useful content or resources already there that can help you to speed up the way how you create things. Speaking about the personal sphere, this is also what is drastically changing the way how I search things. So I was used in the past several years ago to work always with search engines like Google, for example. And now I stopped to use Google. The first entry that I have is always Copilot, ChatGPT, all these AI tools that it's incredible how they can immediately provide you responses or address you in the right resources without wasting time. So this is how Copilot helped and is helping now with our daily job, but also in our personal activity, personal life. So we have seen also, I would say, an evolution of Copilot itself with the agent mode announced by Microsoft in Ignite. This means that Microsoft is always an assistant, but it's more integrated with Office apps like Excel, like PowerPoint and Word, and so on. So speaking about Excel, for example, now Copilot works better with the agent mode. So it's go deeper about specific functions of Excel. So, for example, by creating another worksheet that gives you a better visualization of your table that you have on another worksheet, or can create formulas for you, can provide you suggestion how you can better visualize content in a table or in columns. It's incredible. So yeah, I would say it's a second version of Copilot, which works more than a simple assistant. It's working like an agent now in the Office app. And what are the advanced capabilities of these agents? Now we are experiencing agents, which is no more it's no more an assistant. It's a network of agents that we have, and they are able to work and collaborate each other. How they can do that? So with tools and actions and triggers. So for example, an agent can run another agent and wait for the response, just for an approval workflow, for example. Once the approval workflow ends, the agent that was raised for the first one can go back to the first one, so that the wave can proceed, so the work can proceed and go to the next step. So it's a real network of agents. Every agent can do something and then collaborate with other agents to make the job done. It's crazy how we reached this in a very short time. It's evolving always more, and it's, of course, we need to stay prepared under the governance umbrella. It means that we have to talk about how we can monitor agents, how we can onboard agents. So if someone start to create an agent and then ask to publish this agent because could be beneficial for everyone in the organization or just for a specific department, but it's important that you have a strategy for the onboarding. You have a strategy to evaluate the agent. What are, from IT admin perspective, what are the capabilities of the agent? What are the permission? What are the resources touched from this agent? And then from a compliance point of view, we need to be sure that the agent, it doesn't become a threat for the organization by doing bad stuff or doing stuff that it not should be done, following the governance and the compliance rules. And how we can observe this? Of course, using existing tools that are already there in Microsoft 365, speaking about Purview or speaking about Defender. So you can keep track in real time of what an agent is doing, what is the activity of the agent, and if, for example, Defender raise a warning so that the agent is doing risky stuff with specific content, you can, as an admin, immediately block the agent for the entire organization, so no one is going to be able to use the agent, and then you can stop this threat in your organization. Okay, let's move now with the next slide, and let's see what are the key capabilities that comes to us in case we decide to create or build an agent, and what Microsoft offers. So the two main pillars, in my opinion, are Work IQ. This was also announced during the last Ignite, and Agent 365. So the Work IQ is an intelligent layer. So it's an aggregator in your company. It scans all your content and create a connection. So let's say that you have an email related to a specific project X, and then you have several other documents which are marked as top secret or highly confidential that you have in SharePoint, for example, or in a team in Microsoft Teams. And these documents refer to the same project. And then in the org chart of your organization, you have people working on this project. WorkIQ is able to create a connection of all these entities that you have. And this, as you can imagine, creating this connection helps agents to get a better answer to your question, to prepare a better result for you, even if they have to do something, running a workflow or doing something on SharePoint. They can have this information available through WorkIQ immediately, and they can improve the quality how they perform the job. And then we have Agent 365, which is the management platform offered by Microsoft to have a centralized view of all agents that you have. Personally, I think Microsoft did a nice job in providing this piece in the admin center. We will see later, and how it's becoming more easy to have a full overview and to rule all agents, and also handling the deployment of agents to see what the agent is doing. So it's very easy now to get more information around all agents. And this, of course, improve the security and the compliance. I mentioned it before, Purview, because this is the place where you can create, for example, DLP policies and ensuring that the agent receive the least privileges possible for specific resources. And for example, the previous speaker, Wario, mentioned it about that there are a lot of companies that are not implementing or configuring DLP policies to avoid that Copilot access specific content, like highly confidential documents, for example. And Purview offer this. It's important that you have this as a strategic plan in your organization. Moreover, you have also Defender, which is able to scan what an agent is doing. For example, if the agent is moving or sharing things where it's not supposed to be, then you can take an action there. So Defender can help you to scan this kind of activity and then take an action. So let's talk about, I've written here Copilot Studio because probably is the most used tool in creating agents. It's extremely easy to use Copilot Studio, but there are also other ways to do it. So let's see let me guess why Copilot Studio is one of the most used tool. It's definitely, as I mentioned, the UI, it's extremely easy. Speaking about designing and deploying and orchestrating AI agents, it's extremely easy there. You can orchestrate multi-agent, and you can increase the way how they collaborate each other, and it integrates governance, which is great. So you can decide what makers can do and what not in your environment, and it's easy to do. But there are also other ways to create agents. Speaking about from a user perspective, through Copilot, you can easily create a new declarative agent. So according to your job and your role, you maybe want to have an agent which is able to do specific things that you do every day. So you can delegate this kind of activity to your agent, which can work as a personal, and then you can share this agent in your team, for example. And this is the easiest way to go by creating a declarative agent without having any kind of technical expertise. So being zero about technical experience or competencies. It's super easy to do. But Microsoft has also announced the Foundry, which is another way to create agents. So if you are planning to use and to create from very scratch a new agent, and you want to write code in for your agent, you want to have the maximum flexibility in terms of customization, you have also this additional way to go. So it's very easy. It's just a matter of picking the right tool for your needs. Okay, now let me share my screen, because I want to show you the things that you can do when you start creating a new agent. So I'm now sharing, and let me go on my Copilot. So I have this page. So from let's say from a user perspective, it's pretty easy to go here, new agent, and then here you have the ability to pick, for example, an existing template if you want. From here, you can reuse something that Microsoft already provide, and this list is growing. I remember that we started with just 3 agents here, but now we have more agents. And then you can decide the name, the description, the instruction, what is the source where the agent has to go through, and other information. So it's very super easy to use. The other way that I mentioned it is, of course, using Copilot Studio. So you can jump on your Copilot Studio. Let me type here Copilot Studio.microsoft.com. And here, what I created, for example, under agents, was in the past a project assistant. So assuming that you want to have an agent that monitor all your important project in your organization, that should be visible to every employee in your company. So it makes sense to have something like that. So an agent that is able to create new project, store this project in a storage. In my case, it's a SharePoint list, very easy, and provide the ability also to list projects or update existing one or upload documents for every specific project. And very important is also get the priority. What are the priority main projects for the company in the year? So this brings more transparency or clarity for every employee in the organization. I have this here. It is this project assistant. So for example, here I can ask list all projects. Now this one will work on the answer, and let's see how fast it is. And there we go. I got the main projects for this year: Energy Saver, Places, AI Boost, Company Daycare Center, Drone X, and so on. And here there is a very short description and summary if you want to do more. This is one agent that you can build with, but you can also, under tools, create more actions. So what the agent is supposed to be. You can raise also other agents, and going back to the network of agents that you can have. And then there is a third approach, which is, for example, by coding the agent. In my case, I played a bit with one, which is this one. Let me zoom so it's more easy to follow. I built one by using also adaptive cards. If you're not familiar with that, it's just a JSON snippet that you have to add. And this is adaptive card will adapt, of course, the content in every service in Microsoft 365. Speaking about Copilot, this is how the content will be displayed for you. And so, and here, for example, there are more information. about this agent. So the idea of this agent was, instead of going through the Microsoft 365 roadmap and see what was coming, I decided to look in the community if someone was working on that one, and they did a very nice job in implementing this stuff. So Microsoft provides public API, like this URL, the one that we can see here. And this is part of also of the configuration of this agent. This public API provides information about the M365 roadmap. So if you want to get information about a specific product, what are the latest, so you can easily consume this API and then you get this information. I don't want to spend a lot of time in showing this agent and the code, but I would prefer to invest time how you can cover this scenario. So having this extension, the M365 Agents Toolkit, you can easily create an agent by writing code, and then you can provision this and then publish this to your organization. And this is exactly what I did for me. And let me open it so you can see a better feeling of what this agent does. In this case, there are already prompt ready to go. I can click, for example, here, give me the details about this feature. So by running this, hopefully this feature is already there in the roadmap. Let's see now, the M365 Insider is connecting and is grabbing information. This is the account recovery, and this is the adaptive card that we have seen before. This is can aggregate the content in a better look and feel. So you have this specific information about this feature, when it's supposed to be rolled out, the description. You can get more information by just opening the page in the browser. But this is how this agent works. Now, we will see later how you can onboard this agent if someone decides to publish this in your organization. As an admin, you can onboard the agent, decide if publish this for your organization or not. Okay, these are the main way that you have to work and play with your agent. So now let's go back to my slide. Maybe I think I need the help of someone that can put the slide. Okay. Oh yeah, perfect. Thank you. All right. So we are back now on the slide, and let's move on. So we have seen that Copilot can work along with you in the Office apps, but this is also a capability your agent has. So you can decide during the creation of an agent what are the resources that your agent can look into. Speaking about your calendar, meeting notes, speaking about your Outlook email, speaking about your OneDrive, Teams, SharePoint, and so on. These are all resources available for your agent. And this is another classic slide. I really like this slide because allows you to better understand how WorkIQ create a connection in every entity of your organization, put the content more connected to each other, and then provide all the information to the agent. Speaking about documents, speaking about chats on, for example, on a specific project, or meeting recaps that you have weekly on a project, or the org chart. So the agent is able to identify what are the persons or the team that is working on a project, and can even see if there is an approval process running on a specific thing. Now, let's touch finally another main pillar of this agentic era. And as I mentioned, this is the governance and compliance. So how you can manage risk, how you can have strong governance and a compliance plan for your agents ecosystem. So first of all, when you onboard an agent in your organization, Microsoft Entra provide an agent ID. This works like a new employee in a new company. So you get your employee ID. And in the same way works for agents. Every agent gets a dedicated and unique ID. This because it's more easy, speaking about identity management, identify the agent and keep track of what the agent is doing, what are the permission to the resources, and what the agent is going to do, what are the eventual API used, the Microsoft Graph API permission, and so on. The second aspect to consider are conditional access policies. This is the way where you can say, please stop. You cannot enter there. So you, agent 007, you cannot have a look to these documents because these are marked as highly confidential. They are top secret. We have design project there of our prototypes that cannot be shared in any way. And this is, they can have a critical impact for our business. So this is how conditional access can help, but it can help also in another way. If you want to have that just a few people can do, or just a few people can have access to specific things, so the agent can follow these directives. And then we have governance. This is where Purview comes to the help. This is where you can plan data loss prevention policy. So for example, you can avoid that even Copilot looks on specific things, or if you have this set up, for example, if the user try, what is the result? The result is if the user has an important document open and try to ask to Copilot, can you summarize this document? If you have this set up in the DLP policy, you are going to see that Copilot will give you as only answer, I have no access, sorry, I cannot read that. And this is how you can separate and increase the security of your data and maintain the integrity of your data in your organization. You can also monitor the activity in Purview of AI and agents, even Copilot. So you can see how also people work with agents and Copilot. And you can do even more with speaking about threat detection and security with Defender. The Defender is able to, in real time, to scan the activity of risky agents, for example. Let's say that an agent is taking some content and is sharing this content in other way and in other places. Defender can stop this activity, can warn you, and can tell you, look, I stopped this because it's high critical. So look into and then take an action. So you can easily block the agent and stop the risk and the threat action that the agent is performing. Now, here we have another slide that makes easy to understand that the agent can have least privilege access control. So the agent can only read what we decide that the agent should read. And we can block specific knowledge sources. So for example, specific files that are sensitive, we can stop the agent in reading this content. So these all things that we can do in place. this is an example of how conditional access can help you. So, for example, in conditional access, you can say that specific website should not be discovered or explored by the agents. So you can block the agents, and you can even say that specific type of documents or documents that present specific content or they are marked as sensitive, they cannot be read from any agents. And this is how we can rule this thing and cover this scenario. Another way that we have is using DLP policies in Purview. So we can say that any file that contain, for example, an IBAN or a bank Swift codes, this could be, doesn't matter which file, Excel, or it's a page in a website or a PDF or a document, it doesn't really matter. DLP can immediately stop an agent by reading the content. I'm not saying stopping the agent replying to you and providing you the response. I'm saying stopping the agent reading the content. So because we can have the case where the agent read the content but then cannot provide you the answer. So this works better. So it prevents that the agent touch the content. Okay, now let me show you. So we are just in time, but before to do it, I don't want to switch back on the slide. Let me talk about the roadmap for adoption and scaling. What are the main approaches? What are the main things to consider when we plan to embrace the agentic era and give it a try in our organization? So first of all, identify high impact use cases where you have many time spent of processes, how you can make these processes better, how you can measure this process so you can have a result, an outcome, so you can evaluate. We need an help here. Maybe we can automate things. Maybe we can have an agent that run in parallel during the user is doing a specific things, so can provide in the meantime some insights about the status of a specific things. And then you need to have, of course, up and running a governance framework by reusing all the things that we discussed: Purview, DLP, Defender, all things that helps you to have a nice security but also a governance in the sense of identity management, exploring and seeing new agent, onboard agents, and see who is responsible, who is the owner on a specific agent, go back to the owner if there is something critical, and so on. And then also scale optimize adoption. This means expand the way how users work with agents, measure how they interact with agent, and see how you can help this, how you can help new members using agents or properly onboard them, and make the experience even better with training, for example. And also be prepared for changes. If Microsoft roll out new things, be always prepared. So this is part of also of a center of excellence. So it's important that you have a team that is prepared of what is coming and adapt the governance accordingly. Okay, now let's go back to the demo, and then we will wrap up the session. So let me share again my screen and let me give you a quick look about what you have so far to rule agents. So this is the admin center. So now here I'm in this tenant. I am global admin. I can see basically everything, but here again, it's important that you assign the proper rule to the person who is responsible for, in this case, for agents. You can assign the proper rule to handle this. So Microsoft has worked hard to improve this piece of the cake, let's say. So you can have, as an admin, a better view of what you can do here. So this is absolutely important, because this is the first place where you can monitor how many agents are in your catalog, how many agents are published, the activity per users. You can have a report, and you can keep monitor all these kind of information. And then you have the all agents, which is the place where you have the full visibility of all agents. And here are also listed the one that I created in this tenant, in this organization. For example, I create this declarative agent, for example, which is shared. I have this other one, or the project assistant that we have seen before. And here you can manage and see what the agent is doing, what resources is consuming. For example, let me open this one. This one provides me this information. For example, as a knowledge, this agent is using a graph connector that point to the roadmap, to the Microsoft roadmap. So, and this is another way how you can also improve the search, because through this connector, you can pull out the content that you need from the roadmap and then have it in your search experience or using this agent. And then in the security and compliance, you have all links to monitor the activity of this agent. This brings you directly in Purview. And under I forgot something very important. Let's say that I created before, using VS Code, the M365 Insider agent, and then I published this. So this it's not published immediately in the organization, but this comes to this page, requests. So, and here is where the admin has to go through the information about this agent. We can see that is pending review, the publisher. We have this information. We can see the data and tools that is using. For example, can use code interpreter. There is the description. And now under action, we can see that is using an open API. And this is the endpoint that this agent is using. So this is extremely easy to monitor what the agent is doing. And for the moment, we can see that it's this agent. It's monitored in Purview. It's possible to monitor. Now you can reject the request, or you can decide to publish the agent. In the case you decide to go forward, you can decide if this should be available for everybody in the organization or just for a specific department or a specific team. Then you can use existing templates that help you to customize and configure all this information. For example, you have Purview audit enabled. This means that you can, this agent is monitored. Going on Purview, you can see what the agent is doing. There are Entra policy, for example, to detect agent identity threats by flagging anomalous activity involving agents. You have all these things in place. You can go on next and then publish. Now we are really sure that our agent follow our governance. Okay, Now, this is published and it will be available in the agent catalog. These are all instruments that the main instruments that you have to start to deal and play with all agents. So let me now open another tab and let me go through tools. Here you can see all tools, and with the topic that we have seen in one of the session, MCP server. This is another way that you have to better rule the agents. And finally, in settings, it's more related to data access. You can have control here. You can see what the user can access, and also the sharing option. Here you can say that no one should see all agents listed, or so you can really customize these things. So there is also an interesting new functionality that Microsoft recently rolled out, and this is the map. So you can have a map of the agents in your organization, and this is very cool. So what you see here, if you go on one, so I can even zoom this. Now I can see in this circle all agents that are in. For example, these are all third-party agents. And then you have the agents made with Copilot Studio. I have a couple of them. Then there is the Microsoft Corporation circle. These are the official agents released by Microsoft. And then you have also the agents made with the Agent Builder. So you can click on one of them, for example, and you can get information. You can see also if they are connected to each other. You are going to see a line that connect the agents, and you can see that they work together to make the job done. So this is an incredible feature, I would say, and helps IT admins to monitor what the agents are doing. So I don't want to bother you with additional stuff. I want to give you also a bit of break so you can elaborate all content that you get, and also you can be prepared and refresh your brain for the next sessions. So I think we can now go back to the slide just to wrap up. So we discussed already about the roadmap, and feel free. I will monitor the comments, but I think Marcel will have probably some question for me. And here again, if you want to stay in touch with me, there is the QR code. So feel free to scan if you want.
Yeah, really impressive. So the last one was amazing. I never seen this before. It was really cool. Yeah, a lot of changes. So I have a question. So I didn't know. Yeah, I nearly know the answer, but I'm not totally sure. Yeah, this is regarding to work IQ and graph. So what do you would describe? What is the difference between work IQ and graph? Because yeah, there's still a graph API who knows everything, but work IQ is the new player in the house. But it's not. Yeah, not everyone understands this right here, I think.
Yeah, and I think we need also more time to get more insights and detail about that. But imagine that, just to answer the question, that you want to suggest additional information, because the agent should not provide only an answer, should be also proactive. This is also how an autonomous agent is supposed to be. So it's not just replying to my question, but should be also proactive in bringing more content. For example, do you know that there is this team that is involved in this specific topic in the project? Do you know that there is a recap meeting where there was a brainstorming how to plan the best strategy, how to onboard new agents in your organization? And so you can easily get more information. This is how WorkIQ it works. So it doesn't provide just the answer to the agent, but brings more content. Do you know that this is the answer? Okay, but to have more information, there is a team committed on this one, and this is the project, and we have also this documentation. So the user can imagine a new member in a team searching for content or about a specific project. It's more easy using an agent, for example, for a new member of the team, getting more involved with who are the colleagues working on this project, if there are already onboarding documentation or knowledge resources that he can or she can go through.
So I have a second question. This is more and look into the future. So if we're looking ahead, I would say 2 or 3 years, what will separate organization that thrive with M365 agent and those that struggle regarding to the mess what we here see? So you show the picture. So you have a mess now regarding to existing third-party or Copilot Studio or Microsoft out-of-the-box agents, and so my big pain point in my head is so I have so many agents, but how I know which agent should I use for what in my situation. So it's because the people think different. The people think like ChatGPT, I type in and I get my answer. And the agent part is more related to I have a problem and I want to solve it, and then I need the right tool to solve it. And so this for me is not totally clear which way will Microsoft go here. What do you think?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Yeah, I think this is the fill to gap, because right now it's very hard. So you go first on Copilot, and then you can see the list of other agents that you possibly have, and then start to interact with them. But it's not really easy. So right now it's more building a custom solution where you have, for example, a dedicated agent that can help you to discover what is the list of agents that you have right now in the company, and or maybe just connect Copilot somehow with one of your resources that you have, where you have a catalog with all your agents, and then you can say, look, if you want to go deeper on that specific topic, don't go with Copilot, but open this specific agent, because provides more information. It's deeply integrated with this topic, and so on. I don't know what Microsoft will do. I'm not. I don't think Microsoft will invest a lot of time, because this is more part of the single organization, because one organization can have multiple agents a lot. Other organization can start really from the basic by disabling all agents and starting to be more granular by rolling out 1, 2, 3, and so on. It's difficult speaking. I'm trying to be in the Microsoft side now. Speaking about that, it's difficult to plan something that could be really flexible on the specific use case for every organization needs. But maybe can provide an additional platform where the admin can list every agent and what the agent can do, and this is integrated with Copilot, so the user can, instead of searching, can just type in Copilot, we have this project, there is some other agent that is more integrated with this topic, or I need to create an approval workflow for this thing, there is an agent for that, making more easy, let's say, using more conversation and description instead of going every single agent.
So Giuliano, I want to thank you. It was great to be here, and I hope we see you soon. And our next session is with Angeliki Patsiavou regarding to Bohemian Rhapsody in Copilot Studio. Level up your agents UI UX game with adaptive cards. See you. Bye-bye. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
The Microsoft ecosystem is evolving faster than ever. Copilot, Power Platform, security, modern work, Azure AI, new features every week, new opportunities every day. But learning is scattered. Events are expensive, limited, and difficult to access. That changes now. Welcome to M365 Con, the world's largest online Microsoft 365 convention. 2 powerful weeks, 1 week of workshops, 1 week of free global talks and keynotes. Build your own learning path with expert-led workshops. From Power Platform to security, from Copilot to Azure AI, you choose what matters to you. Then join over 60 free sessions with most valuable professionals, Microsoft trainers, architects, and innovators from around the world. Meet the community, explore the virtual expo, connect with experts, and be part of a global Microsoft experience. Accessible, global, interactive, and designed for every Microsoft 365 professional. M365 Con, your community, your learning path, your Microsoft 365 future. Welcome to Power Bros Knowledge, where Power Platform meets pure innovation. Your business runs on chaos, approvals lost, data scattered, time wasted. We know that pain. Now imagine automating everything, faster, smarter, and built for impact. That's where Power Bros come in, architects of digital change. We don't talk trends, we build results. Our Knowledge Hub turns expertise into action, real tutorials, real automation, real impact. Whether it's Power Apps, Automate, Logic Apps, or Entra, we make it work together, smarter. Join the Power Bros movement. 30,000 professionals learning, building, and sharing every day. Ready to transform your workflows? Book us now, and let's build something legendary together.
Hi, I'm Sean, and I train people to become Power Platform Solutions Architects. If you're watching this, you know Power Platform, but be honest, when you're building the solution, are you using the best tools to solve the problem, or just the tools you know? If you love building powerful, scalable solutions that make your company money, let me share why our training is different. We've noticed that the best architects know a series of best practices and they apply them to every project. So we took all these best practices and put them into this course.
Hello and a warm welcome to the M365 Con again. My name is Marcel and we are here today with Angeliki. Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi. Hi, Marcel. Hi, everyone.
Hey, and the topic today is Bohemian Card-sody in Copilot Studio. Level up your agents UI UX game with adaptive cards. It sounds like my favorite band of all time, Bohemian Card-sody Queen. So so you could start. The stage is yours.
Sounds good. Am I audible? So, just checking that I'm audible because it seems like maybe the internet is glitching, but please, someone in the chat, let me know if not. So, really excited to be here today for M365 Con. Hope everyone has had a great time so far today, this week. It's been so many great sessions. So today I'm here with you to present a Queen-themed session on Copilot Studio and specifically how you can enhance your agentic user experience using adaptive cards. So a bit of information about me. My name is Angeliki Patsiavou. I'm a BizOps MVP from the UK, and I love being part of the community, speaking, blogging. I've been doing this for 5 years now, and I've been very grateful to be recognized by Sessionize in the top 3% of their speakers worldwide for the last few years. One of the things you should know about me is that I'm a big CRM geek. I've had already 3 different careers in the CRM space, starting off as an end user in the marketing space, then moving into change management, so training and adoption, and ultimately being a functional architect. So I've really enjoyed that, being that kind of hybrid architect that brings together these different kind of backgrounds. And most recently, I'm senior management in the Dynamics 365 space. I'm originally Greek-Italian, but I've been calling the UK home for over a decade now. And apart from being a full-time geek, I also love martial arts or singing. So with that in mind, I'd love to connect with you all. So here you can see some QR codes for LinkedIn, for my blogs, empoweredhumans.net, as well as the Agent Creator Community, a Microsoft initiative that supports the creation of agentic work and bringing everyone together through the community. So why is this session today so important? Well, it's 2026, okay? And it's very, very important that we are investing the right time and thinking in the user experience that we're creating for our agents. After all, we're going to get some pretty odd stares from our users and from the business owners otherwise. And what do I mean by that? Well, to begin with, I think we can all agree on numbers and that they can speak louder than words. So a great research by Gartner showed that in 2028, they're estimating about 33%. You heard it right, 33% of enterprise solutions will have a version of agentic AI infused. And just to put that into perspective, it was less than 1% in 2024. So in the space of 4 years, this has massively increased. And so expectations increase as well. Now, it's not just about the numbers surrounding this prediction. I'd also love to introduce you to some great predictions for this year from Alan Miller. You may have been also following her on LinkedIn. She's one of my favorite thought leaders when it comes to the AI space. She's ex-IBM and Amazon, but she's also an amazing investor in the space of AI. And she made some predictions. So I want run through all of them, but I have highlighted some. And these are around the importance, of course, of context and memory. We're increasing our expectations as users as well as business owners when it comes to creating that continuity in conversation and having the right memory. Of course, MCP servers are helping with that. We have Microsoft Foundry that can help a lot with memory, and a lot of other solutions are infusing it more. Now, at the same time, our AI solutions will become more of peers and teammates rather than just microtaskers that we're delegating to. And they're going to become smarter as well. So they're going to be prompting us on next best steps, assuming the next action we might want support with, and so forth. So we have to enhance their quality and their efficiency. Of course, we're also going to see a shift to more multi-agentic experiences. Another reason why we have to be thoughtful about the user experience surrounding them and the transition between them that becomes as seamless and invisible, actually. And of course, that investment in the user experience become even more obvious as we start seeing a bigger divide between the super users, both in terms of actual use as well as building, and the surface users, those that are just scratching the surface and are not really immersing themselves into the latest tech and opportunities in what we build. So with that in mind, I want to run you through a scenario. And this is a multi-hazardous experience that you're going to face in let's say, customer service representative scenario. So in this case, and this is actually part of the demo that I will show you later, and the whole use case, we have a customer service representative. They are actually part of a hotel chain, and they pick up a call from a high net worth individual. So they have a problem with a reservation. They have lost access to their account. Classic password reset is not working scenario. They're a very high net worth individual. They have an urgency to make a change to their booking, but they can't even access it. So the customer service representative will follow initially the classic steps that you will imagine. They're going to access the reservation in the CRM app. They will then try to support them with the known kind of step-by-step approach that our custom engine agent is prompting them. But ultimately, the client has already followed that. They're upset. They are not getting anywhere. And obviously, the next step they've been promised is call customer support, which they've already done. But that's where the agent hits a roadblock, because they're telling the customer representative, well, they've called, they followed all the steps, and I can help you raise any task or any issue with IT. So for the customer service representative, who is either overwhelmed with a variety of calls and chats and cannot really multitask to that level and to that efficiency for what the client wants, or worse, they are new, they're not aware of the processes, they are hitting a dead end. And this is quite upsetting because they are at the mercy of this multitude of experiences and having to proceed with a manual approach and losing context in the app and whatnot. So I do believe that we can do better than that. So what are adaptive cards and why are they so important in this? Well, to begin with, adaptive cards are providing a very exciting way to create this rich interactive content. They can be structured in any way we want, so we can unleash our creativity, make them fit for purpose when it comes to creating a specific solution or meeting a specific requirement. The great thing is that they're also cross-platform. So what I mean by that, even though today we are looking at the context of a Copilot Studio agent and building within Microsoft Copilot Studio, they can actually be built in a variety of other scenarios. So for example, it might be part of a Teams solution, so they can be deployed cross-platform and they're quite adjustable. They're also declarative in the sense that they use JSON to create that definitive structure and that very specific results that we're expecting, similar to how you would, for example, expect the declarative behavior of topics in Copilot Studio if you set it up that way. And they're great in the sense that they can be dynamic, they can have different paths in their structure, different combination of inputs, outputs, actions, and so forth. And they're great to fulfill a specific task, which in this case, in our customer service representative scenario, we need to help them escalate an issue to IT. We need to give them that direct access to it without having to navigate different processes, different context switching within the CRM app, and ultimately frustrating the client more. We don't want that. It's a high net worth client. We really, really value their time. Okay, so we have, to begin with, the opportunity to start designing our adaptive cards through the Adaptive Card Designer. You can see the website here and a screenshot of how it looks like just as you log in. Just to make it easier, I've broken it down into different blocks that I wanted to briefly run through just to explain how it operates. Nevertheless, I have also created a blog post. Here's a QR code that you can scan, and it guides you step by step through everything you need to do to set up your first card. There's a sample JSON that you can download if you want to play around with an existing card and see how it behaves. And all the tips and tricks you need to know to get you started. But either way, let's go back to this layout. So on the left-hand side, so block 1 is where we have all the different components. So these are different components that we can drag and drop in order to create our adaptive card, top to bottom. Now, if I raise your attention to block 3, that's where we can start building it. Again, think of this top to bottom mentality where we start putting all these components together. Now, one of the exciting things about the designer is that it's a beautiful example of fusion development. What I mean by that is that whether you're on the pro code side, on the low code side, this design is for you. So if you want to stick with the low code approach, you can drag and drop components from block 1 to block 3 in that screenshot. So you can start creating the different aspects of your adaptive card by dragging and dropping these components. It can be different elements. It can be different actions, capturing data, outputting, submitting actions, all sorts of cool things. And as you start dragging and dropping those components in block 3, then you'd see in block 4, so at your top right, the properties that you can set up for each. So essentially, you're going to have the opportunity to customize them, which is great because that's the whole point. We want to create a custom, fit-for-purpose solution that really is engaging for our users. Now, as you start doing this drag and drop thing, you will see in block 5, your JSON starts generating. And this is why this is a great interactive designer. You move essentially from your low code approach to your pro code schema generation by seeing your JSON generate in real time. However, that goes both ways. So if you're in the pro code camp, you love JSON, or maybe you already have an adaptive card template that you want to import and start customizing further, then what you can do instead is either copy and paste or start typing straight away in your payload editor, that's block 5. And what you'll see is that in real time, block 3 will generate as well. So your components will also be seen there, which means that you can also customize your properties in block 4. So either way, you can go from one to the other. And this is also why it's important to take a step back and not just go into the designer straight away, but just like you will put some thinking into creating an app and first starting with your data model, consider this a very similar experience. Take some time to think through what the design should be. Maybe you're going to sketch it out. Maybe you're going to go into a tool to understand what is the solution you're building, what is the requirement, what data you're trying to capture, what kind of actions, and what does it mean beyond the adaptive card? Is it interacting with other systems? Are we parsing the data somewhere? What is the purpose behind it all? What is the portability it wants to give, and so forth? So the next step in this experience is to see an example because the proof is in the pudding, right? Great. So here's an example on the top left of an adaptive card that is being used to upsell a product. In this case, in the same kind of hotel world. We are part of engaging with the user and booking a hotel room. And of course, we are in the business of selling. So we want to upsell them potentially for a welcome basket. So those lovely baskets that have a few treats to get you going in your first day. And so instead of just having a very black text approach and just saying, would you like one? It's so lovely if we can have an adaptive card that shows them the product itself, gets them a little bit more enticed, and then 2 very simple actions. So they don't even have to type anything. They can just click on, yes, I want it, or no, I do not. And this is why actions matter. Ultimately, depending on which button they choose, there's an action submitted. And behind is essentially a yes, no, that we are going to parse through Power Automate into our CRM app to say, as part of the booking, should we prepare a welcome basket or not? And so it's very important that we put some thought in it. And as we build the flow, also make sure that our CRM app is enhanced with that data automatically without needing any more manual intervention from the client, from customer service, and so forth. So nice and easy. Styling matters. Adaptive cards are very much part of a marketing-like experience. And what I mean by that is that you have the opportunity to be creative, but also purposeful with every element of it. So your image, just like you go into marketing and say, my email needs to have the most beautiful, engaging hero image. Think of it the same. You have styling options when it comes to components. These are the properties I was referring to. So whether it comes to the font size, the coloring, things like that, everything can make a difference. So do put that thinking into it. And if you want to see some examples of how similar cards operate and how to parse the data with Power Automate into your Power App, you can have a look at this blog post as well. It describes step by step how to do it and some caveats that you might run into. So next up, I wanted to give you the full kind of adaptive card experience, and it's actually the core of our demo for today. What we have here on the left-hand side is a task assignment adaptive card that is part of a task assignment agent that I've built. And what essentially this does is give us instant access or a micro experience of a sort of creating an IT issue or a task without having to worry about switching context to a different side of our CRM app, without having to worry about knowing where that even is, and to also automate a few other things, such as what happens after, who do we assign it, how do they get notified, and so forth. But let's not rush into it, because I wanted to show you a little bit about the anatomy of this card and focus a little bit on the components that are available to you. This is obviously not an exhaustive list, but just a very tangible example of what you can do. So let's go from top to bottom in the same mentality that I explained earlier. So block number 1, here we have a title. So of course, this is a text block. We wanted to stand out in this title format. And so we have some bolding, and we're using some capital casing as well. Moving up to block 2, we're using an image here. Now, bear in mind that as you create the adaptive card, depending on how big it is, where it's going to be rendering, adjust accordingly your sizing. Now, it would be beautiful to have maybe a bigger image, maybe even a GIF. However, I also don't want to lose context of the length of the adaptive card and the data that is important to input. So I'd rather sacrifice some of that wow factor, in this case, for the image in order to not go below the fold, aka I don't want the user to have to scroll through to see all the data they need to capture. And also the action button. Block 3 is very important. Of course, it's the subject. What is the title, essentially, of this task that we want to create? And we'll see this in action, but it's essentially going to be the title of the activity we want to assign. So this is going to be a simple text block. Objective type this is interesting because this becomes our first more interactive data type, and this is essentially a drop-down menu. So this is going to give an opportunity for the user to choose between different objective types as we have standardized our data. As we know, this is, one of our great opportunities for data hygiene and normalization. So we have a few different objective types that the user can choose from as a preset. Then the description becomes what we are most familiar with, which is a multi-line free text, so they can add whatever information is needed to begin with in order to get this task going. Then we have a due date, and that's our infamous calendar package. So now we are working with a date kind of data type that we want to input. Moving on, we have a priority drop-down. So this is going to signify whether it's low, normal, or high priority, which is also very important when it comes to assigning this kind of things. And talking about assignment, at the core of it is, who is this task belonging to? Who is the owner? Who should be assigned to it? And so we are going to add the email of the owner. And just a small note, I don't know if you can tell from the screenshot, but we also have the opportunity to add some guidance for the user. So instead of having a blank kind of empty cell to fill in, we are adding the guidance. So for example, we are saying, type in the owner's email or describe the task. This is part of the interactivity that I was referring to, and making it purposeful, making it as simple as possible for the user to fill in. So you are helping them out, simplifying the user experience, and also protecting your data hygiene because you are making sure the data is as clean as possible. And then, of course, our final block, number 9, is submitting the action, aka creating the task, which is going to trigger a whole set of events after. Now, when it comes to putting something like this together, there's, as I mentioned, some planning behind it, and I like to call it the DAT planning. Now, that's a personal acronym. I'm a geek. We all love coining a few terms here. So what does that stand for? So DAT stands for data, actions, and triggers. So this is just a little acronym for me to remember how to design my card and make sure that I'm thinking it through, meeting the requirements, and also challenging myself to make this as simple yet as astounding as possible. So when it comes to data, as you see, we have here different data points. So similar to how you would have a quick create option for a model-driven app, I am looking at what the minimum data is that the user needs to fill in, hence the min-in concept, in order to create this record. So I want to make sure that in this micro experience in the agent of a quick create record, that I am giving them all the data they need to fill in the right data type, in the most intuitive way, hence having this kind of quick explanations of what each expected data point is, and making it similar to the format that we would expect. So if it's a drop down in the core CRM app, of course, make it the same in the adaptive card and so forth. The second part is the action. So our action button at the bottom is very important. And sometimes it may not be the only action button, like we saw earlier, where you can either opt in or opt out of a welcome basket. So it's important to plan it appropriately in terms of what is it going to do after, what kind of event is it going to relate to, what data may it parse, and also in terms of like the UI UX, because that's the whole point of today, make it less crowded, make it visible, make it prominent. And this is why I was saying, maybe sometimes you want to sacrifice some real estate for a beautiful image in order to render everything within the same window rather than or above the fold, as you may have heard from a marketing perspective, in order to show everything the user needs to know. And the max out principle is that you want to get the most out of it. You want to make this as efficient, as productive, and as data rich as possible, even with the few bits of information you're capturing. Now, the other element that I found quite interesting when I was creating such adaptive card is because it's meant to be assigned to someone. So the concept of an owner that I'm sure you're plenty familiar with when it comes to a task or an IT issue is, how do we get to it? And what I mean by that is that you could, in theory, have a concept of choosing a user through their name, through the full name and so forth, instead of adding their email. But here's what happens. You may bump into a few challenges. So what I mean by that is that you may have, let's say, a few different users that share that name. John Smith, for example, right? Common name, you're going to find it. So just having a full name may not help. You may also argue, well, I want to build a fancy directory version here and be able to see the name plus the email plus whatever. And, you know, in principle, if you want to be super pro code about things, you could build Rome. But Rome was not built in a day. And sometimes we want to make these things quick as well, because we want to create our solution sooner rather than later and still make it handy for the user. So by knowing that the email is a unique identifier, we can just add the email instead and then do the mapping of the email versus their Active Directory full name in the background. So we don't have to worry about the end user doing this. And of course, because we want to make it a very good automated solution, we don't just want to assign a record in the CRM app that maybe that IT representative does not even look at that often, or maybe they are reassigned to a different system like ServiceNow. We want to make sure that they don't have that worry or maybe that excuse that I didn't even know I was assigned this task. And even though it was urgent, we really upset the client by not looking at it. So we will notify them automatically directly after this task is created, so their Outlook has an email of that assignment. Now, one thing to bear in mind is as we are, let's say, looking at different data types, there are some notions that we have to be conscious of. And what I mean by that is that we essentially have 3 different areas that understand these data types that are essentially variables. We are starting in the adaptive card designer that has its own JSON schema, and we have some data types and variables there. That's place number 1. Place number 2 is Copilot Studio itself and how it's handling its variables, whether they're topic or global, don't matter, but they're essentially there. And then the third area, because we're going to use Power Automate in the post-adaptive card submission route in order to parse our data into the CRM app, but also create that email notification, we also know that that is handled in a different way from the purpose of having the Copilot scale trigger the flow itself. So there's different variables that are getting matched here. And we have to remember how they are handled. So adaptive cards have a set of data types that they accept. The Copilot Studio surface as well. And then Power Automate, because it's a little bit more permissive in that sense, it will understand a few more data types because it can also connect to the richness that is Dataverse, for example. So with that in mind, sometimes you have to do this mapping yourself. And this is probably not going to be a surprise. A classic example is how are we going to translate these drop downs? So in the case of this adaptive card example, we have objective type and priority being drop downs. And what do we know about this data type in Dataverse? We know that they are handled in 2 different ways. The friendly way that we understand, which is the label. For example, when we talk about priority being high, normal, and low, that's the label. But actually, when we're trying to play around with that data, we need to think of the value. So this is a numerical value that is given to each label. And so when we're going to go into Power Automate, we have to translate that. We have to play a little bit with Power Effects and say, if you see this label, and then give this value to that data point, that column in Dataverse to create that record. Otherwise, it essentially will fail because it cannot read the label. It has to match it to a value. So things like that, bear them in mind as you navigate this. Now, if you want to see how this adaptive card was built, or the blind spots, tips and tricks, best practices, you name it, there's a very comprehensive blog spot and post, and you guessed it, it's the QR code posted here, so you can see all the different steps involved. And of course, the JSON schema is there for you to download if you want to experiment with it yourself. Okay, so few things that I wanted to flag as part of this task assignment agent is that you may find yourself in some blind spots or seemingly dead ends. One of them is how you work with dates. Now, there is, as I mentioned, a matching process that needs to happen as you work in adaptive cards and move to Copilot Studio, and then eventually Power Automate should you choose to do that. One of the things that I encountered, and this is just an example, if there's a date typecasting situation, so essentially the way that the adaptive card understands dates versus moving into Copilot Studio and then Power Automate is a little bit funky. And essentially what that means is that you set it up as a date in adaptive card. It still is understood as a date variable in Copilot Studio. But when you try to create a Power Automate flow and invoking it in your topic, then you suddenly see that it's asking for a text kind of block, kind of variable. And you're thinking, what gives? I'm pretty sure I'm working with a date here. So this is what we know as a typecasting issue, but that's not actually the end of the game, because we can use Power Effects to convert the date in the traditional format that we know into a string format, which is still perfectly okay because Dataverse understands dates in two formats. The string one being what we are familiar of as ISO 8601, so the string date version. And so you can use Power Effects to do that conversion, because Power Effects not only is found in Power Automate, which we know and love, but it can also be used in Copilot Studio. So it gives us a lot of that freedom. Labels versus values, I covered it again. So this is where you're going to use, again, Power Effects to do that conversion, Power Automate, and create those if statements. And then another thing that you may bump into, even though it's not specific to the adaptive card, but it's part of this scenario, is that as you're sending the email to the assignee to notify them in Outlook that they've been assigned a task, that who is sending it? And that's why you need to be aware. It's probably going to be a shared mailbox because you're sending it on behalf of the app in a sense. So you're probably part of the admin team. And so you're probably looking at a shared mailbox. So just bear in mind of the permissions that are involved in setting that up. So do's and don'ts. Of course, you're going to have some kind of read and manage permissions to even access this mailbox. But putting that aside, you have a choice to make in terms of how this email is being sent. Is this going to be sent directly from that admin kind of shared mailbox? Or is it going to be sent on behalf of? So how is it going to look like? So for example, we can send an email saying directly from the team, from the admin mailbox, or you can say Angeliki on behalf of, which I'm sure you've seen in plenty of other marketing or IT emails. Now, the choice is personal sometimes in the sense that some people may find it engaging to see a person's name pop up rather than a generic shared mailbox. So there might be a marketing reason for that and an engagement reason. And sometimes it's absolutely fine and you're happy for the shared mailbox. But either way, these are two different permissions. So first set them up in your M365 admin center based on whatever mailbox you've chosen, and then choose the right kind of setting in your Power Automate email. Great. So some extras that I love mentioning as part of the adaptive card kind of solutioning is that once you submit it, in the case, for example, of the task assignment adaptive card, it was a long card. It's always a nice experience to show users what essentially they've input as a summary. So we have the opportunity after we send that dynamic email to the assignee to say, thank you, end user. Just a reminder, this is a bullet summary of what you have submitted. So if for whatever reason they've they've forgotten part of the details, it's nicely formatted here as well. There are some native options for formatting, as you can see from the top row of that screenshot that you would expect, so bolding, italics, and whatnot. But as I mentioned, you can also use Power Effects. Now that's pretty cool because you can do some funky formatting. In this case, I used it because I wanted to do the date conversion between the kind of traditional date format to the string version, but you may use it for other things as well. And if you want to see the different ways that you can format things that go beyond that and maybe are a bit more pro code as well, have a look at this blog post. It explains different ways to format your agent messages that can really also enhance the interactivity with the adaptive card. So one thing that also enhances the experience that I've alluded to is where the adaptive card generally lives. So we talked about it being with the agent, but where's the agent? Now, one of the things I love about agents is that they're portable. And for me, being in context and in the flow of work of the end user is super important because I'm always putting myself in their shoes. I don't want to switch context, go to, let's say, one channel for my agent, then another channel for the CRM app, then another channel for maybe getting some other data for the client. It's really frustrating. So in this case, what we've done is hacked, as I like to call it, the side pane or the side chat that you may have been more familiar with in our CRM model-driven app to have the agent in the context of the conversation that the customer service representative is having. So in this case, they are looking at Brian May. He's actually our star client of the day, of course, right? It's a Queen theme. And he's calling up all frustrated, saying he's made this booking. He can't even access his account. He's clearly a high net worth client, having paid over $3 million to our hotel. And obviously, we need to help him. So how have we done this? As you can see, we have surface the agent and of course the adaptive card experience on the side pane. This is actually a pretty cool hack, pretty simple to do as well. All you need is a bit of HTML magic, some JavaScript. As I said, we are accessing the side pane API. And then the final kind of touch to it is having an onload event handler. So as we are loading up the customer record, then we'll see it pop up. And this is a nice kind of to have experience to create this context and remain in the flow of work for the customer representative. A blog post to show you step by step and all the sample code to use it, you can find here as well. So I want to show you this in real time. So let me now share my screen and we can move into the demo world. So here we have, as I was promising, the Smart Hotel 365 app. This is the app for our hotel's customer service representative. And what usually happens is that the client will call up. In this case, Brian May has called up. So the first thing that we're going to do is access their reservation and see that they've made the reservation, very expensive reservation, might I add. It cost them over $12,000 on my days. That's what happens, I guess. And so we are going to then probably access their account just to see if there's any particular issues that we are noticing with their access. And as we can see, the agent will now fire up to support us. So this is the idea of working from the side pane, so we don't have to worry about it. Quick login, because of course this is a live demo, so we don't prepare anything in advance. We're going to go straight into the trenches. And so this is an example of our hotel chain being Marriott. In no way am I affiliated with them. It was just an example that I wanted to follow. So I'm now interacting with the agent, and very simply, I want to create a task because I've kind of hit a dead end. The client has followed all the steps. They've called me up. And here we are not knowing how to approach this further. So we want to escalate to IT. So I have invoked the adaptive card. Very simple, right? We have our trigger. And so now we're starting to interact with it. So our subject line is probably going to be something like email access issue Brian May. That can be an example. Our objective type is unfortunately a complaint at this point because the customer is very upset. The description is VIP client cannot recover their account access. Please escalate with IT support and revert back with options. That can be an example. Due date, now the client is pretty upset that we haven't been able to help them. So let's say within 1 day, we're going to give you a resolution or at least an update. Priority, pretty high net worth client, remember. And then assigned to is where the email will be sent. So in this case, I want to show you with my own account. And a quick reminder of this. So I'm going to add the email so that I get the notification and I'm the assignee. So I'm just going to say create task. And so what we're going to see here is a few things that I promised. The first one is the summary itself of what we've input into the adaptive card, which is lovely. A notification that the assignee has been notified, which is me in this case. Different kind of formatting that I was mentioning as well. So the bulleting, the bolding, the date conversion to a string and whatnot. So let's go into the email and see where that's at. So let me quickly load it up and just see the assignee email notification come in as well. Let's see if the demo gods, yes, the demo gods are with us today. And have a look at this. Very quickly, I got the notification as well. I, as IT support, have no excuse to say I hadn't seen this being assigned because now I have a notification straight into my Outlook. Now, what's pretty cool about this is that because I've marked it as a high priority item, there's also a high importance notification as well in my email. So one more way in which I've elevated the UI UX by making sure that IT's attention is very much on this. The email is dynamic. So as you can see, it's recognizing my first name. It's giving me some of the key data points I need to know about this task by using dynamic values in the Power Automate email and ultimately keeping it to the point. So very few bits of copy and just making sure that it's been escalated to me. So this is a nice experience. We can also see if we go into the CRM app, let me just refresh the page, that we'll see this email access issue also created as a record in the tasks, because ultimately this is our home for all our Dataverse data. So you can see here, the record has been created as well. It's in the queue, lovely bubbly. And so that's the magic, really. So it's great to be able to have this automation. The adaptive card has really helped us create this micro experience than the user having to go from switching context from the customer record to the task to even knowing how to approach it, what is the minimum data needed and whatnot. So it's been a great end-to-end experience. I wanted to leave you with a big thank you for being here with me today. It's been lovely being part of M365 Con, and thank you so much for coming to this session. I hope you've enjoyed all of the sessions as well. If you want to interact, please have a look at my blog in parthumans.net. All of the posts that I explained are in there. There's plenty of other content when it comes to Power Platform and Dynamics 365, so hopefully you enjoy that. And then also, please do connect on LinkedIn. I love meeting new community members, having all those geeky conversations. And if you have any questions, please do reach out. Always love being part of the community. So I'll stop sharing, and please let me know if there's any questions and whatnot.
So I have some questions. So amazing
Go for
session.
it.
So I love adaptive cards. Years it's I think it's not a new technology, but I think it's for me one of the most underrated technologies, because you can use it in Teams and Outlook and in different ways to make better information regarding important topics. So one question regarding to that, regarding to accessibility, what accessibility considerations are often overlooked when using adaptive cards? What do you think?
That's a very good question. And I think it relates to the first point I made, that we need to be thoughtful about the end user experience. Just because we have the capability to make this into a super complicated or super wow kind of looking adaptive card doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. So being mindful of the styling itself. So for example, as I showed earlier in one of the cards where we differentiate different action buttons through colors and accessible colors, this is very important in order to have a clear call to action that can be very easily recognized. One of the other things is using alt text for having those screen reader labels. So that's very important. I suppose, and this is beyond adaptive cards, familiarizing ourselves with what are the accessibility guidelines. So looking at the latest WCAG 2.0 framework, and 2.2 actually, and looking at what are the guidelines for any kind of accessible content, and making sure that we know how to test is very, very important. And being champions ourselves. So keeping the experience as simple as possible by having the minimum elements that can create this good experience. And being mindful also, one last thing, that accessibility comes in different shapes and forms. So it's not just about, for example, people that may be colorblind or deaf. Like, accessibility comes in different forms. Neurodiversity is a part of that as well. So let's design for all kinds of accessibility issues.
So perfect answer, I think. Good. To the end, I would say I want to break free, or I want it all. And for
I think we all
today, I
do.
would say, yeah, really good session. I enjoyed it. So our next guest will Mikko Koskinen with scaling AI agents securely, next level governance for Power Platform admins. It's nearly 30 minutes, a little time for me to get some drinks. And I wish you a good start into your business here, I would say. And we see us again at the D365 show. And have a nice day. Thank you.
Have a nice day, Marcel. Bye, everyone, for now. Take care.
Bye.
The Microsoft ecosystem is evolving faster than ever. Copilot, Power Platform, security, modern work, Azure AI, new features every week, new opportunities every day. But learning is scattered. Events are expensive, limited, and difficult to access. That changes now. Welcome to M365 Con, the world's largest online Microsoft 365 convention. 2 powerful weeks, 1 week of workshops, 1 week of free global talks and keynotes. Build your own learning path with expert-led workshops. From Power Platform to security, from Copilot to Azure AI, you choose what matters to you. Then join over 60 free sessions with most valuable professionals, Microsoft trainers, architects, and innovators from around the world. Meet the community, explore the virtual expo, connect with experts, and be part of a global Microsoft experience. Accessible, global, interactive, and designed for every Microsoft 365 professional. M365 Con, your community, your learning path, your Microsoft 365 future.
Are you tired of missing out on the latest Microsoft innovations that could entirely revolutionize your business operations and workflow completely now and forever? Imagine having daily insights from industry experts at your fingertips every single day, receiving actionable advice that transforms your professional landscape significantly with each new revelation daily. Our M365.FM podcast brings you engaging, insightful conversations with dynamic leaders shaping the future through innovative technologies and groundbreaking ideas that transform industries. Stay ahead of the curve with expert analysis on the cutting-edge strategies you need to implement immediately, making informed decisions and driving innovation forward successfully, always. From IT pros to C-level executives, our podcast has got you covered with actionable advice daily. Tune in now to discover forward-thinking revolutionary ideas that are transforming businesses like yours right now with innovative strategies and fresh perspectives. You get the exclusive inside scoop on Microsoft's latest technological developments and strategic moves, straight from the company's top experts and industry thought leaders daily. Our engaging discussions make complex tech topics simple, accessible, and highly actionable. You'll be the first to know about groundbreaking, game-changing technological advancements that significantly impact your role and transform your professional landscape completely every time. Each episode is packed with practical insights to boost your professional growth instantly. Don't just keep up. Stay ahead consistently with the knowledge and insights that set you apart creatively from the competition and others in your field, always effectively. Our M365.FM podcast is your essential key to unlocking the full potential of Microsoft's comprehensive suite of productivity tools and services effectively every day. Join a vibrant community of forward thinkers who are actively shaping the future of innovative tech and sustainable business models now and beyond regularly. You'll gain confidence in your decisions daily, backed by expert opinions and valuable insights, fostering personal growth and trust in your judgment naturally over time, with each careful consideration. Expect seamless integration of the latest tech trends into your workflow and overall business strategy, enhancing productivity and driving innovation through cutting-edge solutions and expert guidance daily. Every episode is a step towards becoming a more effective, informed, and confident leader in your chosen professional field by enhancing your skills and expertise gradually, over time naturally. Make the most of Microsoft's innovations today. Subscribe to M365.FM now and lead the way to a more productive future with innovative tools and collaborative solutions instantly. Listen now and transform your approach to tech and business with M365.FM. Your ultimate growth starts here today with expert insights and innovative solutions immediately.
Welcome to Power Bros Knowledge, where Power Platform meets pure innovation. Your business runs on chaos, approvals lost, data scattered, time wasted. We know that pain. Now imagine automating everything, faster, smarter, and built for impact. That's where Power Bros come in. architects of digital change. We don't talk trends, we build results. Our knowledge hub turns expertise into action, real tutorials, real automation, real impact. Whether it's Power Apps, Automate, Logic Apps, or Entra, we make it work together, smarter. Join the Power Bros movement. 30,000 professionals learning, building, and sharing every day. Ready to transform your workflows? Book us now, and let's build something legendary together.
Hi, I'm Sean, and I train people to become Power Platform Solutions Architects. If you're watching this, you know Power Platform, but be honest. When you're building a solution, are you using the best tools to solve the problem or just the tools you know? If you love building powerful, scalable solutions that make your company money, let me share why our training is different. We've noticed that the best architects know a series of best practices and they apply them to every project. So we took all these best practices and put them into this course.
The Microsoft ecosystem is evolving faster than ever. Copilot, Power Platform, security, modern work, Azure AI, new features every week, new opportunities every day. But learning is scattered. Events are expensive, limited, and difficult to access. That changes now. Welcome to M365 Con, the world's largest online Microsoft 365 convention. 2 powerful weeks. 1 week of workshops, 1 week of free global talks and keynotes. Build your own learning path with expert-led workshops. From Power Platform to security, from Copilot to Azure AI, you choose what matters to you. Then join over 60 free sessions with most valuable professionals, Microsoft trainers, architects, and innovators from around the world. Meet the community, explore the virtual expo, connect with experts, and be part of a global Microsoft experience. Accessible, global, interactive, and designed for every Microsoft 365 professional. M365 Con, your community, your learning path, your Microsoft 365 future. Welcome to Power Bros Knowledge, where Power Platform meets pure innovation. Your business runs on chaos, approvals lost, data scattered, time wasted. We know that pain. Now imagine automating everything, faster, smarter, and built for impact. That's where Power Bros come in, architects of digital change. We don't talk trends, we build results. Our knowledge hub turns expertise into action. Real tutorials, real automation, real impact. Whether it's Power Apps, Automate, Logic Apps, or Entra, we make it work together, smarter. Join the Power Bros movement. 30,000 professionals learning, building, and sharing every day. Ready to transform your workflows? Book us now, and let's build something legendary together.
Hi, I'm Sean, and I train people to become Power Platform Solutions Architects. If you're watching this, you know Power Platform, but be honest. When you're building a solution, are you using the best tools to solve the problem or just the tools you know? If you love building powerful, scalable solutions that make your company money, let me share why our training is different. We've noticed that the best architects know a series of best practices and they apply them to every project. So we took all these best practices and put them into this course.
Hello and a warm welcome to the M365 Con again here on our Copilot and Copilot Studio stage. With me today is Mikko Koskinen. Warm welcome to you. And the topic of today is scaling AI agents securely, next level governance for Power Platform admins. The stage is yours.
Yeah, thank you so much and welcome everyone for today's session about agent governance, Power Platform, all of that good stuff for IT admins and Power Platform admins. Let's start by going through some basic details and let's discuss about governance. Hopefully you are able to share my screen. Seems that everything is okay. So, like said, my name is Mikko Koskinen. I'm calling for you here from Finland. I'm working as a principal consultant in a company called Sulava, where I'm head of our AI agents services. Been working with the Power Platform and especially on the governance side already past 8 to 10 years now. So quite familiar on different activities and things related IT governance and Power Platform side. But now I've been working with the Copilot Studio and agents for the past 2 years. And what I've actually seen is that things are now evolving. They are updating, they are changing. And in today's call, I'm trying to discuss for you as a Power Platform admin that what type of new services there are already available, upcoming, and also let's try to discuss a little bit that what does it actually mean, how to prepare, what things you need to consider, and I try to give you some ideas and things for the future, how you can further enhance and develop your Power Platform and agent governance processes and functionalities. One thing, or I would say prediction at this point, from my side, what will be happening in the upcoming 6 to 12 months maybe. I know that many of you have seen similar slide before actually regarding that how we are able to create agents. Yes, we have low code tools, we have a pro code tools, and we have different level of expertise from the makers and people who are creating these functionalities. But what we know already is that the biggest change that I'm expecting to see is actually in the middle, in the between for these different experiences. And this, of course, means a lot of new, exciting functionalities and use cases that people are able to create with the agent side, also actually on the solution sides. But what we are seeing already is that people who are creating agents maybe on the Copilot Studio side, they also want to learn about the Pro Code tools. The Pro Code tools are getting even more easier to use and create things. And we are starting to see combining these different experiences. Also, Microsoft is quite heavily, giving us an opportunities to create things, agents, solutions to whatever tool is best for you, your use case and skill sets. And then in the future, we can connect all of these. And for example, the agents are able to communicate with each other. They can even call different applications and agents based on the needs. But of course, from the governance point of view, this adds quite much, maybe not a headache, but at least areas where you need to start to consider that how this type of different things should be done. So we are heading towards a situation where we need to start balancing, around the security and governance, so that we are not interfering too much for the innovation. We would like people to actually be innovative, create new functionalities, help their everyday job with the AI tools. And agents are really good examples of small applications that they are able to use. What I hear quite often is, especially on the governance discussions around security, for example, are that, okay, what type of risks do we have? What type of protection we should be maintaining and pushing towards the agent makers? How to do a really large scale of governance process, and to handle and understand that what are our makers or agent builders are doing with the help of AI and different tools in the Microsoft ecosystem. Some companies are trying to somehow to limit things so that they are not giving all of the possibilities for the end users. But the reason for this most often is that they don't necessarily understand that what type of capabilities there are already for the governance side, how to understand and control things, and what things to consider. And today I will go through the new. Some of the tools are already available, some are upcoming, but I try to discuss that, hey, what a typical Power Platform admin needs to know and understands from the overall tool set in Microsoft ecosystem, because it's quite typical at the moment that when we are discussing about controlling the agents, everyone is just saying that, okay, how I can onboard people in the Copilot Studio side. But having a control and governance over the agents means a lot more than just the Copilot Studio activities and enablement. So let's discuss about those areas today. But I will be focusing quite heavily on the Power Platform side, but I will also discuss about the Pro-code functionalities and how they actually are seen in the Power Platform solutions, and what things your admins needs to understand from those other services. The fact is that controlling the agents in Microsoft ecosystem is not one person job anymore. You need more people with different understanding in different areas, and you need to put those people to discuss and communicate with each other, so that you will have an overall understanding of different activities and use cases that you are facing. So let's discuss about different ALM capabilities. One moment, I have one small issue now on the slides. Sorry for this. Let's switch to another site. All right, now let's go through a couple of basic things first on the Power Platform side.
I think you must share your screen again.
Yeah, I'm sharing. One moment. Yes, now I found it. Sorry for that. So let's go through the basic things in the enterprise level, first from the Power Platform, and then let's go on the next sections discussing about the overall maintenance. These areas are something what we see and hear quite often that needs to be discussed and go through with the end users and on the environments when we are starting to discuss about agent building in a scale for the enterprises. First of all, try to discuss and decide that what type of onboarding process you would like to have for the end users so that they are able to start building the agents. Of course, you can always give like an Copilot, M365 Copilot license for them, but what to do with the end users? What type of ALM process would you like to see in your environments? And related to those, couple of settings. First of all, think through that. Do you want to onboard the makers in a secured and maybe controlled way to the Copilot Studio? You can give them a license, or you can, I don't know, create a form, for example, that they can use so that they are able to get access to the different environments. We are always setting the environments so that there are special places for the agents that the end users are able to use. This way, in a normal situation, people are able to start, navigating to the correct places, and they can start to create their own agents in a way that you are still maintaining the control. So in many cases, what is needed at this point of the ALM process is to have a place where everyone has access to. They are able to do things, but maybe they are not able to, for example, push the agent to a larger audience and then maybe cause some type of overhead for the cost, for example. But there are tools to control this, but you need to set up things first before you have the overall control for the process. And these are the main things that we are always setting up in this type of situation when we want to start engaging people in the Copilot Studio. So one environment, giving the settings for example, for the sharing, and then also setting up things on the monitoring side so that we know exactly where the agents are built. One really important setting related to the sharing, and this is quite typical things or question that we are getting, is that, okay, how can we limit or making sure that a development agent is not pushed to the production without our knowledge? And luckily, there are nowadays those different settings that we can use. I will come back to the overall discussion that, okay, where the agent is built, what control places or admin centers we need to use, for example, with the Copilot Studio agents, with the Foundry agents, and how to gather everything up. But I'm recommending always starting with the Copilot Studio and then going through and towards the Azure Foundry services, and then we can connect everything with the Agent 365 services. But let's check these different settings and recommendations. live from the settings, maybe that gives you a better overview that how everything should be done. So let's check those main settings that we are always using and what we are recommending for each organization. So first of all, think and make a decision that how you are onboarding new Copilot Studio makers. We are always using this Copilot Studio authoring tool or authoring setting for that. And what this gives us is a possibility to create an Entra ID group that we can then set up here on the settings. What this means is that if we go on the Entra ID side, and we check the group, we can make a decision that, okay, only the members of this security group here do have access to Copilot Studio. Also, when we are adding the person into the group here, they will automatically get a Copilot Studio license behind the scene, and then they are able to access the services. It will take some time when I'm adding a new person here, but after a couple of hours, they will have all the necessary things ongoing. Other thing what we are always setting up is an environment settings or structure. In this case, for example, we have this Copilot Studio development and production environments done. And when we are onboarding a new person, we want that the person will get automatically the necessary roles and permissions for that environment. And that we do throughout the Copilot Studio security group. So if we go on the settings, we have also created the Dataverse team for this group here, so that they will automatically get the necessary roles to access the environment. So now in the onboarding process, only thing what we need to do is to add a new person in the Entra ID group, and they will automatically get access for this development environment here. Of course, if you have more specific needs for the environments, then you can set up things based on that. But the easiest way to onboard a new Copilot Studio makers is to give them a special place or environment to do things. Other things that we are always setting up, especially in the enterprise level, is that we are setting up an environment group. Because throughout these groups, we are able to set up different rules. And this is the way how you control, for example, the sharing of the agents or different capabilities of Copilot Studio. So let's get, for example, the view sharing. So sharing the agent. So here in this setting, we normally use a permission to share the permissions or the viewer permissions, but only for individual groups or people, especially in the development environments. When you are setting this to only with the individuals, you are making sure that the agent is, or the makers are unable to share the agent to everyone in your organization throughout this environment. So if they want to publish the agent to everyone, they need to take other actions to go forward. So those are the basic settings that we are making every time when we are creating a new environment for the end users. Of course, there are other settings that you can think through that what are needed. For example, the maker credentials. Are you allowing to use those, or would you like to always use the end user credentials, etc.? But of course, keep in mind, many of these settings are still in the preview. So depending on your need and level of what you are looking for, that are you using these settings or not, or at least relying on these type of settings. But with that, you are able to give quite nice playground for the end users, and then going forward with the other settings. But let's continue about the next settings, and this is maybe something new, especially for some of the Power Platform admins, that what does these areas actually mean? Because the thing is that the different governance needs is actually rising now when we are onboarding a lot of agents. The agents are starting to work as individual users in a one way, and we are seeing a lot more new maybe threats, or at least possibilities where we need the governance. And that's the reason why Microsoft introduced this Microsoft Agent 365 concept. So the Agent 365 is in a one way a place to govern all of the agents throughout the different experiences. It doesn't take away the need for Azure admins or Power Platform admins, but it adds one level on top of all of these. And in a one way, we start to see that the work that the governance people needs to do is done in one type of triangle. So we have agents built with different technologies, and then the governance is done first in the bottom, and then pushed forward towards the overall services. So Agent 365 will give you a visualization, security controls, access controls, and listing of agents overall from all of your environments, no matter how the agent is actually built. So it can be built from Copilot Chat, Studio, Foundry, it can be third-party agent, etc. So this will gather everything around, and even those agents that are connected are then visible here. And in the future, for example, we are able to visualize how the different agents are acting together, and you can fine-tune and going deeper in the whole, especially when the autonomous agents are starting to work on your environments. In a one way, the Agent 365 offers a lot of new things, but it is relying on the existing services. And I'll talk you through all of these most important ones, so that you will have at least the basic level understanding that why some of these services are included and what does that actually mean for the admins. And for example, based on this, you can then start to discuss with the other administrators and start to plan the overall governance process for security and monitoring point of view, for example. So the most important aspects or tools for the admins are, of course, those two development environments, meaning Power Platform and Azure. Then you have the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, that has like the main tools for agent listing and registry, but then also the different security and monitoring sites, meaning Entra ID, Defender, and PureView are also included on the process. So the agent registry might be the one that you already know, and you've been using this one. Still quite new functionality. There are a lot of preview things that I will be discussing about those in a moment. But this is the place where you can see the agents and take the first level of actions. So let's check how that looks and what is the current status for the agent registry. So when the agent has been published or added into your environment, the place where you can find the agent is from Microsoft 365 Admin Center. And from here, you can start to see all the basic information from your environments and what there is and what type of agents you will have. So this is the dashboard. And then, of course, you have this all agents functionality from where you can see the listing of the agents. Filtering is quite good already. So we can, for example, see all of the agents that are done, for example, with the Copilot Studio Lite version. You can see information out of them here. You can also make the filtering based on the publisher information. So our own agents can be filtered out, etc. What you can do from here is, for example, you can always block an agent. If something happens, someone is saying that, okay, now this one is not working as expected, you can take an action here and block the agents from the end users. When you are clicking the agent, you will get more information out of it. Depending on the agent type, you will see different things. This is something that I'm not a big fan at the moment about this information, because I would like this to be unified so that from every agent type I could see the same information. But hopefully we are getting there soon, hopefully. So for example, let's open maybe one of these external partner sites. As you can see from this agent type, this is a pro code agent. We can see a lot more information than from the lightweight agents, for example. We can select the users who has access into this, what type of permissions the agent is using, what data and tools does it have, and also we can connect this to a PureView services to find more information. Then if we get another type of agent here, we can start to see other information. For example, from this one, we can see that this is reading the public sites, and there are also some other knowledge sources added. So without a real access to the agent, you are able to get, quite a lot of information and capabilities out of this tool already. Then, if we think through the other aspects of the tools and what you need to know and understand, is the different tools and areas of the Agent 365. The first one is actually the access control. From the Agent 365 service, when the agent is installed or published, what happens behind the scene is that every agent will get an Entra ID, identification or identity. This is especially for the upcoming months or in the future, when the agents are starting to act autonomously, for example, or you want to control that where the agents do have access to. So, of course, for example, in Copilot Studio, the end user's own access is something that is affecting on the agent capabilities, but throughout the Entra ID settings, you can even fine-tune the possibility there. For example, you can give a more access for the agents and for the end users for a certain time only, if you want to. That's one use case, that the owner of the agent can decide that, okay, now I want this agent to be able to access to one SharePoint site, for example, or graph data, and they can take access to do that in the Entra services without, changing the permission, for example, in that certain SharePoint site. The identity is also helping the monitoring on the other services, like in the Defender side or PureView side, or even on that agent listing. So the identity is really a key thing here to understand and to know that will be available in the future. And let's see how we can actually benefit out of that in the future states. The Entra ID identity has multiple different layers. I will show this to you in a moment in the demo, but maybe the most important thing to understand is that I can pre-configure, for example, an identity package for the agents, and then when I'm installing the agent, I can decide that what type of permissions or identity settings they will get then out of the settings. But let's check that throughout couple of demos. It's easier to understand. So first of all, for Azure Foundry agents, which can found, for example, from here, the agent Entra ID is always created when we are publishing the agent. So when we are pushing the agent to a production, the Entra ID is always enabled or created. For the Power Platform side, you actually need to configure this. And this might be actually a good thing to do, or decide that, okay, from which environments the Entra ID setting is actually enabled. Maybe not from all of the environments you need the Entra ID to be added. Maybe in some development environment or small apps environments, it's not needed. But then on the production environments, you would like to enable the Entra ID creation. So when the Entra ID setting is on, you can start to find those identities from the Entra ID service. So let's see what that actually means. So from the Entra services, we have the agent ID service or section. And from here, we can see all of the agents that do have an Entra ID configured. The first thing to know and understand is the agent blueprint. The agent blueprint is a set of settings and configurations related to some agent whole in one way. So, for example, when you are setting up the Copilot Studio settings for Entra ID identities, this blueprint is automatically created to you. And it means that all of the agents that are created in different environments will get an Entra ID, and they will be connected for this Microsoft Copilot Studio agent blueprint here. You can always see that is the agent connected to Entra ID from the agent settings. I'll show that to you in a moment. So from here, if we open the agent and let's select one of these under the settings and advanced metadata, you will see that now this agent actually has an Entra ID available. So if we go here and I make a search, I can find that agent and information out of it. The possibilities to control the Copilot Studio agents throughout the Entra ID is still in a preview, but there's one really good functionality here which is not available in any other admin experience, and it's related to the owners of the agent. So we can actually, hopefully it comes out soon. So we can add a sponsor for the agent. One moment, please. So let's open it one more time. So blueprint. Let's open the agent one more time. Now, as you can see from here, this is an active agent done with the Copilot Studio, and we have a sponsor here. So this means that you can set up sponsors and owners for the agents through in the Entra ID. The similar way that you have owners and sponsors or managers for people in the Entra ID side. And then you have that information that, okay, who is owning the agent from the business point of view. So the agent maker, which you can see from the Power Platform side, that who created the agent, that he owns in a one way the development of the agent, but the functionality or business process is normally owned by someone else. And that information can actually be added here in the Entra ID service. So as we can see here, I'm the sponsor or owner for this section here. Then, of course, there are ways of changing these owners if you want to do that. So there are these lifecycle workflows that you can use, so that if the agent sponsor is I don't know, changing and their work, maybe they are leaving, you can create a task to send, for example, an email for the managers of the sponsors, so that they can take actions to update things. So business process owner information handling is something that you are now able to do in the Entra ID side, and you don't need to build something extra, for example, on top of the Power Platform services anymore, because this is now available for everyone. All right, that's the Entra ID side. Other data or Agent 365 governance functionalities is related to the Microsoft Defender. So as you might know, there are threat protection services already available that you can set up for your environment. But now you have an enhanced way of getting even more control and security measurements on top of your agents throughout the Microsoft Defender side, which is part of the Agent 365 service. And from here, I can enable this Defender service for different or in a whole. And what that means then is that the Microsoft Defender services will be then pushed on top of your agents, and Microsoft will be starting to handle different kind of threats, and is also able to show you more information and gives you tools to find that information throughout the Microsoft Defender services. So I think this is really a good way of getting more control and security measurements. And for example, there are these predefined alerts that you will be getting, and then you can also find more information out of the information that is sent out the Defender connection. So on the Defender side, a new table will be then created for you, and you can use this table to find more information out of the agents based on your needs, for example. So let's take one example out of that. Now, so with this query, I can make queries and get information out of the agents and different parameters. And for example, I can use this agent to create a query to find different details based on the needs. I'll add a couple of these examples into my presentation so that you will get the necessary knowledge on how to use these. So with this query, I can find all of the agents where the authentication method is none. So I get really detailed information out of the agents in the Defender side, and then I can take actions, or your security people can take the necessary actions. All right. Those are the main areas for the new capabilities in the Agent 365 services, meaning the registry, then the Entra ID side, and also the Defender activities. And you need to, or you can start thinking through that, how you would like to use these new functionalities, and start to go through that, what new processes is needed on your site. Because you need to think through the agents in the future as a separate or as an persons. So it means that there are many places where you need to set up or think through the governance settings and processes, and that's why the Agent 365 has been created. And of course, going through the different functionalities today wasn't possible. Many of the areas would need a lot more new sessions, but at least hopefully you get a basic level understanding that why these different services are there and what type of things they can offer to you for the future. So let's go few things here. We just looked the Defender side. Those are the queries that you can use on the Defender. But one thing to remember is that this is just the beginning. Hopefully, based on the different areas that you saw today, you can start planning. So for agent governance, don't concentrate only on the Copilot Studio side. Think through also the other processes, how to communicate with the different admin areas and personals, and for example, how to create a habit where you have an overall view of the whole, because what we see too often is that agent governance is only a responsibility for the Power Platform admins, but as you just saw, there are a lot of other tools and areas that you need to understand and use. So this is like a game for many, and hopefully you are able to find a good solution on how to go over the different processes. Also remember that agent governance can be done in different zones or different levels depending on your need. So maybe there's no one process that is suitable for you. Try to think through also that what type of different use cases there are for different situations, because the lightweight type of system development is of course only one whole, and then there are different levels for the agents, which also means that there needs to be a different levels of governance activities to take, and for example different levels of security measurements that you need to check through and fine-tune for your own needs. But the Agent 365 will now offer all of these different levels, and as soon as we are more close to the GA, hopefully we will see a lot more advanced features, and I'm really hoping to see a lot of progress around these different toolings, so that in the future we will have a full, I would say, agent governance center or activities possible in our tenants and organizations. All right. That was everything for today. I would really like to go a lot deeper in many of the sections, but this was like a small part of the whole, and hopefully you will get, or you got a little bit better understanding on what these new tools and Agent 365 are. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mikko. This was really, really impressive because you lighted up some other technology stacks, like where you didn't show in his session, and so to light this up for everyone. So what I see here is to integrate agents or an agent stack up, you need to integrate not only an CISO or security officer, an purview compliance manager, an defender specialist, an Entra responsible, and the power platform responsible person in a company, or additional an AI responsible person. So a lot of persons will come together with and at the end is the end user and the business. This makes it not so easy, and how you describe it, we need a lot of governance to bring this online.
It might feel that it's not easy, but I also see a lot of possibilities here. When I started to go deeper on those other services, I found out that those questions that we have heard there are answers for those throughout these different admin centers. For example, the example that do we have agents that don't have an Entra ID authentication on? So do we have the anonymous agents available? It's not easy to find that information from default Power Platform Admin Center, for example. But throughout these different services, you can actually find that info if you know where and from whom to ask. So someone do have that information, especially after you set up everything and connect those different services together. So it will give you a lot more tools and capabilities than what you have normally at the moment. So I see that as a positive thing, actually.
Yeah. You're right. So yeah, I'm a German guy. So for a German, this is the first things. As a problem, a lot of people need to come together, and governance ever been not only technology. The technology is still there. You just show us. It's really good today. But here is a stack of discussion and structure. And to define the structure means it is different for every company. And you need to find for every company the own structure. You can build some best practices. But yeah, really impressive. So I really like this presentation. I want to thank you. Our next session is in nearly 8 minutes. Sean Estrican, extremely accurate AI leveraging Azure AI Search, MCP Foundry with Copilot Studio. We see us again, I hope so, this year. And have a nice day. And thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
The Microsoft ecosystem is evolving faster than ever. Copilot, Power Platform, security, modern work, Azure AI, new features every week, new opportunities every day. But learning is scattered. Events are expensive, limited, and difficult to access. That changes now. Welcome to M365 Con, the world's largest online Microsoft 365 convention. 2 powerful weeks, 1 week of workshops, 1 week of free global talks and keynotes. Build your own learning path with expert-led workshops. From Power Platform to security, from Copilot to Azure AI, you choose what matters to you. Then join over 60 free sessions with most valuable professionals, Microsoft trainers, architects, and innovators from around the world. Meet the community, explore the virtual expo, connect with experts, and be part of a global Microsoft experience. Accessible, global, interactive, and designed for every Microsoft 365 professional. M365 Con, your community, your learning path, your Microsoft 365 future. Welcome to Power Bros Knowledge, where Power Platform meets pure innovation. Your business runs on chaos, approvals lost, data scattered, time wasted. We know that pain. Now imagine automating everything, faster, smarter, and built for impact. That's where Power Bros come in, architects of digital change. We don't talk trends, we build results. Our Knowledge Hub turns expertise into action, real tutorials, real automation, real impact. Whether it's Power Apps, Automate, Logic Apps, or Entra, we make it work together, smarter. Join the Power Bros movement, 30,000 professionals learning, building, and sharing every day. Ready to transform your workflows? Book us now, and let's build something legendary together.
Hi, I'm Sean, and I train people to become Power Platform Solutions Architects. If you're watching this, you know Power Platform, but be honest, when you're building a solution, are you using the best tools to solve the problem or just the tools you know? If you love building powerful, scalable solutions that make your company money, let me share why our training is different. We've noticed that the best architects know a series of best practices and they apply them to every project. So we took all these best practices and put them into this course.
The Microsoft ecosystem is evolving faster than ever. Copilot, Power Platform, security, modern work, Azure AI, new features every week, new opportunities every day. But learning is scattered. Events are expensive, limited, and difficult to access. That changes now. Welcome to M365 Con, the world's largest online Microsoft 365 convention. 2 powerful weeks, 1 week of workshops, 1 week of free global talks and keynotes. Build your own learning path with expert-led workshops. From Power Platform to security, from Copilot to Azure AI, you choose what matters to you. Then join over 60 free sessions with most valuable professionals, Microsoft trainers, architects, and innovators from around the world. Meet the community, explore the virtual expo, connect with experts, and be part of a global Microsoft experience. Accessible, global, interactive, and designed for every Microsoft 365 professional. M365 Con, your community, your learning path, your Microsoft 365 future.
Hello and a warm welcome to the M365 Con again. Here with me today is Sean Ashrican. Welcome. And the topic of today is extremely accurate AI, leveraging Azure AI Search, MCP, Foundry with Copilot Studio. Hi, Sean. So everything's fine and up, so I could hear you?
Yeah, can you hear me good?
Yeah, perfect. You could start. The stage is yours.
Beautiful. Where can I see comments of what people are saying? Well, I guess you disappeared, so that's that. Hello, everyone. My name is Sean Ostron. I run the Architects Accelerator, which you've already probably seen a bunch of ads for, so I appreciate you doing all of that for us, Marcel. So hopping in here, I'm going to go into the most impactful tools. Oh, we show the comments at the end. All right. The most impactful tools to get reliable data out of Copilot Studio. By a show of hands, how many people have used Copilot Studio and gotten the exact results they wanted every single time? Oh, very, very few of you? Okay, that makes sense. So this session should be helpful. Let me screen share this right here. Beautiful. So I have two Copilot Studio agent bots right here. And this one right here is using a SQL connector. And this one over here is using Azure AI Search. And what I want you to notice is the difference in results quality. All right. So here I'm asking them both a question of which hotel is for ski lovers. So if you look at my database, it looks like this. Here, it's a model-driven app. I'm using Dataverse. I have a bunch of hotels, like one's an adventure jungle safari vacation hotel. Another one's fantasy factory, gourmet food and wine tour. These are generally all of my kinds of hotels in my system. So if I connected the SQL connector to that data or Azure AI Search, let's take a look at the difference in the actual results. So when I hit play here, you'll notice that which hotel is for ski lovers. We'll go in here and say, oh, they both got it right. Okay, the SQL connector out of the box works great. Why do I need this? Well, let's switch it up. Let's change it to which hotel offers skiing, okay? Now, the fact that it says skiing and not ski, this is a big difference. Watch. We'll notice it's retrieving, and oh, the SQL connector could not get any information, unfortunately. Marcel, by the way, I'm going to need you for some examples, so I hope you're not somewhere else. So I appreciate it, and I'm going to ask you a question in a second. So this next one, I'm going to ask it, which hotel is called Hotel 47? If we run that over here and we try to retrieve it, we'll notice that both of them got it right. All right. When we ask it which hotel is called Hotel 47, they both work. But watch this. I'm going to ask a slightly different question. Which hotel has the number 47 in the name? Things get a little weird. If I ask it that question, the result is Azure AI Search works. The SQL connector does not. That's because the SQL connector does not understand when you ask it questions such as the number 47 inside of the name, like that's weird for it. It can't work with that, unfortunately. So this is one of the many reasons Azure AI Search can be quite powerful, but I bet you're not convinced yet. So let me show you an actual example right here. And don't worry, Marcel, I'll need you in a second. So if I come over here and then, Marcel, have you ever been to Japan?
No, never.
Okay, Marcel's never been to Japan. So he comes here and he wants to book his dream outdoor vacation. This is the power page we have set up. And he's like, okay, I don't have time to look for, how many records do you have? Like 6,000? I don't have time to look for all this. Just real quick, I want to go to Japan. Can you take me to Japan? Do you have vacation packages for that? I hit apply. We're looking for Japan. Come on, I want to spend money. I want to give this company money and go to Japan. Oh man, this is taking a while. And it does. Oh no, I guess this company can't take me to Japan. Now, Marcel, imagine this is your company. Right now, your customer is not buying from you. Your customer is not using your services at all because because they can't find what they want. But if Marcel, I don't know, memorized all your data, he knows that you don't use the word Japan, you use the word Tokyo. Oh, wait, you do have a vacation package in Tokyo. Too late. Marcel's gone. You've lost him as a customer simply because you couldn't do a very special word. It's called semantic meaning. So let's try another example here. So in here, I just showed all that data in here is connected to Dataverse. So that is, let's minimize that. Let me bring it back up here. All the data is here inside of Dataverse. And then if we go over to our Power page, we have two different kinds of agents right here. I have this AI search agent that talks to that hotel. And then I have a Dataverse one, okay, using the out-of-the-box connector. Again, we're trying to help Marcel buy our stuff. So in here, let's put these agents against each other, and this should get a little nuts here. So let me move this over here. And yeah, we're doing this live because why not? That's why you all paid. Actually, Marcel, did they not pay? Isn't this like the most free community conference that exists? So you're using your time, so I want to make sure you get something good out of this. So let's go in here and ask it, which hotel is best for, I don't know, or just say, I'm interested in, what was it? Going to Japan. Actually, he's certain. He's not asking the question. And then we're going to go put that over here. And then we're going to compare the two results. I'm interested in going to Japan. And I'm going to make it a little easier on the data, which is which hotel is best for Japan. Let's put that into here. And I want you to notice two things. A, do I get the results I expect? And then B, look at speed. So again, Marcel's the person who's using this. So Marcel comes in here and he's gonna, let's pretend he's trying both. Which hotel is for Japan? Great. We're off to the races. Let's see what happens here. So in this experience, Marcel just got his answer in 2 seconds. Best option for Japan is the Fantasy Factory. Boom. Marcel is buying from you. Good job, team. But this other company decided to just use the out-of-the-box connector. Which hotel is best for Japan? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Can you try? Marcel doesn't have time for this. He is gone buying from your competitors. Let's do another example here in case we're not convinced yet. So in here, I have, what other ones did I put? Marcel, what else do you like snorkeling?
No.
Thank you for being honest and completely ruining my demo. Why don't here's Marcel,
sorry.
do you like wine? You like alcohol? No.
So I like tea. You
like tea?
I'm drinking green tea. Yeah.
Wow. So you like alcoholic tea that's been sitting around fermenting that turns into wine. Yeah, cool. So aren't you from Denmark?
yeah.
Like, isn't that like a huge?
The Danish people like öl. Öl is beer.
Okay, I don't know how to spell that, but we'll come back to that. Okay, which vacation is best if we like wine? Okay, the gourmet food and wine tour works, so Azure AI search works here, great. But look, the gourmet food and wine tour, so Dataverse worked here and it worked here. Why do we need Azure AI search? Look, the only reason the word wine worked here is because the word wine is literally in the text. That's it. Dataverse is good if you're using the exact words, but the second the words change at all, it starts to fall apart. So I forget. Marcel, are you married by chance?
Yes.
Perfect. Have you ever, I know you never have, but maybe one of your friends, have you ever forgotten your partner's birthday?
I think so.
Oh, good. A tea drinking, birthday forgetting, anti-snorkeling Danish man. I love it. So in here, Marcel forgot his partner's birthday. He wants a big vacation to say, I'm sorry. And what would be a big grand gesture of our love? He's going to throw that in here. And again, he's competing between two different companies. Is he going to buy from you, or is he going to buy from your competitor? So we're going to go in here. Let's throw him in. Ooh, okay, we got some options here. So in this one, we have, I forgot my part of which vacation. We got luxury beach resort getaway. We've got the gourmet food and wine tour. We got desert safari and camping for adventure-loving couples. World-class dining, romantic choice, perfect for couples who appreciate fine cuisine. Creates a memorable and meaningful celebration of your love, like is important gesture for your partner. Is that not perfect? Marcel, which would your partner like the most? The beach resort, food and wine, or desert safari and camping?
Beach resort, I would say. Beach has ever been good.
All right, beach resort it is. Well, let's look at what if you built this agent in Dataverse. What do we get? Luxurious vacation house for a grad gesture. You got Hotel 230, Hotel 917, Hotel 5. So I hope this is clear to you. If Marcel tried to impress his wife, this one would result with them having an amazing beach getaway. This would result in Marcel getting a divorce. This is the power of when you use Azure AI Search. It is incredibly reliable for semantic meaning. And we're not done yet. We're going to come back and show even more of what Azure AI Search can do. But I think right now, a lot of people are like, okay, what is this Azure AI Search? How does it work? Like, what am I getting into? Because like any tool that's awesome, there are some gotchas, and you got to be aware of them. So let's break down how Azure AI Search works. So what problem is Azure AI Search solving? If your customers can't find your product or service, for instance, in England, they call things trainers, but in America, we call them sneakers. So if Marcel sells sneakers, that's a fun say. If Marcel sells sneakers and then some British person types in the word trainers, well, they can't find any of Marcel's stuff. They're buying from Marcel's competitors. If your shopping cart can't do things like semantic meaning, or maybe you're like most people here, I'm sure you're a Microsoft partner. If your customer is searching for like reporting tools, like if you're not using semantic meaning, they won't realize that Power BI means reporting tools. Just one of many examples. So what this means is you're requiring your staff to have to memorize exactly what your data looks like. You require your customers to know exactly how all of your data is spelled so they can search on it. So when you use tools like Azure AI Search, you can help customers faster. You can help more customers in a day. You can help more customers with fewer workers is the big advantage. Also, you get a lot less angry customers. For instance, Marcel, have you ever called customer support and they said to you, I'm sorry, I can't find your account. Can I put you on hold?
Yeah, yes, sure.
Right. And what does that do? Does that make you excited to keep working with them?
No. So, but it's a standard in Germany.
Right. It's a standard. You've all accepted poor customer service. What if you were the one company that could actually deliver and help find the results you wanted? All right, let's hop into how this actually happens. Cool. So let's say this is you, and you want to talk to Azure AI Search. Your data looks like this, like I showed you earlier. And then the next thing you do is you ask it the question, which hotels are near the sand? Oh, by the way, there are about 100,000 hotels. This is key, and this is the big difference. With Azure AI Search, it scales like crazy. Like you give it as much data as you want. However, if you have tons of data in Dataverse, not so much. We'll come back to that. By the way, there are 100,000. The robot responds, I don't understand. The reason is you are speaking in English to AI Search. AI Search doesn't speak in English. It speaks in something called vectors. So you need to speak in vectors, and I'll explain what a vector is. That's fun, right? All right, onwards. So how do vectors work? Inside of, it used to be OpenAI, and now it's called Microsoft Foundry, you can deploy certain models. Some models you can chat with and some models you can't. So for instance, if I hop in here to AI Foundry, I have it open over here. Cool. You'll notice that I have a model deployed right here that is called Text Embedding 3 Small. I'm going to deploy another model. Let's say some kind of chat GPT. Let's pick a cheap one that will be done quickly. Here we go. I'm going to deploy this one. The reason I'm deploying this model is because I want to show you a critical difference. If I go to Open in Playground, I have my ChatGPT model. I can type to it, say, hi, Marcel doesn't drink tea, right? And then it's going to go answer my question. It's cute. But down here, you notice I don't have an option for Text Embedding 3 Small. So for instance, where is it? Why isn't it here? That's because this model, you do not talk to this model. Text Embedding 3 Small, it solves a very different problem. This model is not for chatting. This model is to help you with vectors. So let's go take a look at those. In here, when I ask my question, which hotels are near the sand, I need to take my text and I need to send it to a model like Text Embedding 3 Small. I'm going to send that text to the model and it's going to send me back the vector version of all of my words. So now what's happening is I have now the vector numerical representation of my question. You'll see why these numbers are really important in a second. Next, I have to take all of my data. I send it to the text embedding model, and then it's going to send me back a numerical explanation or a numerical version of all of my text from here. So do we see what's happening here? All of my data has been vectorized, as in it has all of the numbers that represent all of my text. And my question has also been vectorized. And now I have the numerical representation of all of my text here. So now that I have numbers here, something very cool can happen. I now can match them. So why is Azure AI Search so powerful? Because it's not using any sort of real AI or language models. It's using machine learning. It's saying these numbers over here match these numbers over here. Let's put them together. The end. That's why it runs so fast. That's why it can scale. That's why it's so powerful. But it's not using ALMs. It's using geometry, like I said. And then what's awesome here too is once you have this set up, you have to be aware of some of the downsides. So remember, the fact that it's just matching numbers together really just means it's a very advanced keyword search. Yes, it's using semantic meaning, but it's a very advanced keyword search. And this tricks people. So you have to be aware of this, because although this is very reliable, it might have some issues. And I'm going to have Marcel help me find some of the issues. So when you are building this, you have to actually, why don't I just take you through the process so you can actually see it, and we'll do it live. Let's do it live over here. So we have, here is Azure. Yeah. And then inside of here, let's say you want to go configure Azure AI Search. So you find it and then you open it up and then you're like, okay, I want to import some data. So I have an existing data source. It's SQL. Again, you can connect it to any data source you want. The next thing is you have all of these options like, hey, do you want to give it certain skills? Like, hey, do you want me to translate anything from English to Danish in all of my data? You can do all kinds of stuff like that. And then the next thing you can do is this, and this is very key, and this is kind of confusing at first. As you can tell, name, description, tags, price, Airbnb description, it found all my data. But now with Azure AI Search, I have these options. Retrievable. Do I want to be able to fetch this data? Like maybe you don't want it, like the Airbnb description is private info. We don't want to share that. Do we want to filter on this data? And then this is key. Do we want to make it searchable? Searchable, filterable, searchable, filterable. Not the same. There's a key difference we're going to show in a second. But before I show that, Marcel, just for fun, how do you pronounce this word right here? How would you pronounce it?
Face table.
That's what I pronounce it as face table. I've been talking to a lot of people, and apparently for the last year, I've been pronouncing it wrong. It's called facetable.
Facetable, okay.
Isn't that fascinating? Yeah, it's supposed to be, it's called facetable. It's not called face table. But whatever, I'm going to keep calling it face table. We don't have time to explain this one today. Let's just go back to searchable and filterable. Anyways, the next thing you do is you click create an indexer, and then you're done. Azure AI Search is going to set this all up for you. You'll notice here that I have these like different analyzing models. You have a lot of configuration of what you want Azure AI Search to do, and I'll explain that in a little bit. Cool. So we have filterable and searchable, and we'll come back to this in a second. So we were asking that question of this. Based on what we've learned so far about Azure AI Search, Marcel, I want to ask you this question, and I'm sorry, you're the only participant I can talk to, so it has to just be you. If I want to ask you a question of how many outdoor activities have instructors that are older than 41, is this a good question for Azure AI Search, or is it a really bad one? To give you a visual example, it's like this. In my system, I have over here, I have instructors. And these instructors, this is, I guess, too zoomed in. They all have birthdays, so they all have ages, okay? How many outdoor activities have instructors that are older than 20? Is this, Marcel, in your opinion, is this a good question for Azure AI Search?
Yeah, I think it's not the timeline important, or is the timeline not necessary?
When you say the timeline, are you talking about for the number, or can you expand?
Yeah, so so timeline means from in the last year, in the last 10 years. So that means I think it's not a really good question because it has no timeline.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll expand more on what Marcel just said about timeline. So how many activities are older than 41? This word older, this idea of a timeline that Marcel is saying, Azure AI Search is not very good at that. What it does is like, hey, remember what I said about it being really just a keyword search? Azure AI Search is going to look for the word in outdoor activities. It's going to look for the word 41 and other things that mean the number 41. It's also going to look for anyone with data that says older and other words for older, such as like elderly or like ancient. It's going to look for that. It's not a large language model. It can't figure out that what you mean is, oh, only data where they're older than 41. So Marcel's absolutely right. It's not aware of time. So this is good for LLMs, or actually I'll show you a way better way in a second. But no, this is not good for Azure AI Search. What about this other one? My brother loves stargazing. Which outdoor activity offers that plus food? Marcel, same question back at you. Do you think this is a good one for Azure AI Search? So in here, my brother loves stargazing. Which outdoor activity offers that? But which do you think that would be good to help find it here? Why or why not?
Oh, this is a good question.
Isn't it?
Yeah. I think it's not. We will not find the part or the outdoor activity is not so. Or you can scroll down. Is
No. You don't have to worry about how many there are. It's just the general idea of the way this question is worded. Do you think it would be a good candidate for finding it?
I don't think so.
Okay. So in this one, you're correct and incorrect on this one. So very, very close. My brother loves stargazing. So as we've seen, Azure AI Search can find things that say stars or night sky or any of that. It's fairly decent at that. It can find matching activities. But where Marcel's correct, that plus food. So what it's going to do is it's going to find outdoor activities that have stargazing or food or both. That's the issue here, is it's not very good at these operators like and clauses. It's more, you could think of Azure AI search as like semantic meaning and a bunch of or clauses. So I think this next one will make it easier. Which vacation is of low danger level and have an instructor result than 20 and an instructor has certification? Marcel, you think this is good for Azure AI search?
That sounds good.
It definitely sounds good. For sure. Why does it sound good?
Because it's end conditions and were really well formed. And
yeah, it seems very well formed. But if you look here, it's actually a bunch of and.
Older when, yeah, okay. The older when part is then, yeah.
So yeah, this one again, it'll definitely get you the results that are correct, but it'll also get you results that are incorrect. It'll get you results where it just says 20, or it's going to say dogs. It's going to get you that, unfortunately. Sweet. So what about this last one? I'm going on extended holiday. Would love to try fishing. Also, I'm allergic to milk and cheese. What are you thinking for Azure AI search?
Yeah, so this could be a problem because this is very special. Milk and cheese and fishing, the combination of both.
Exactly.
Could be
the combination
could be hard.
Right. But overall, this is fairly decent. It will find it, but unfortunately, it could find your results where the person has milk and cheese. Like, it's going to find you activities that have milk and cheese, like the complete opposite of what you want. So that's something to watch out for Azure AI search. The stargazing one, we could actually show you that one live right now. So in my data, let's move this here. Let's move this out. And then let's reconnect everything all over again. Cool. So in here, I have, there it is. One other very powerful component of Azure AI search, because right now you're probably thinking, oh, well, if Azure AI search messes up on this, it's like not very good at that. No, it still has one more really powerful thing I haven't shown you. So dialing back, let's take a look at this. When you use Copilot Studio, the problem with using Copilot Studio is all this work you did configuring this bot or this one, all of it only lives here inside of Copilot Studio. The APIs for it you can use, but they become complicated. No. What's awesome when you use Azure AI Search is you get the ability to reuse Azure AI Search wherever you want. So in here, I skipped Copilot and I just put Azure AI Search inside of Power Pages. That's why Azure AI Search is awesome. It's reusable. I can take Azure AI Search, use in Power Automate, Copilot Studio, Power Pages, custom code, wherever I want. I'm not limited to Copilot Studio. The problem with Copilot Studio is you can only really use inside of Copilot Studio. I'll show you. So let's go back to that example earlier when we were talking about stargazing. If I go in here and let me refresh it, and we're going to try this prompt. Actually, I haven't tried this, so this is going to be fun. My brother loves stargazing, which offers that plus food. We'll see how well it does. Let's throw that in there. Okay, stargazing, desert safari, and camping, followed by a night under the stars. Like, how perfect is that? Like, boom, that's what we got. Adventure jungle safari, kind of related. I hope you're noticing something. First of all, there's a thing called a score. And you'll notice that the most relevant to your search is up here, has a higher score. And the ones that are less relevant have a lower score. Like all the way skiing in the Alps is like the lowest as you can tell. But also you'll notice here we got food and wine tour because, we're talking about food. But this might not have stargazing. This has stargazing but might not have food. That's the thing with Azure AI Search is it's more of it's semantic meaning with an or clause. Now, I want to show you just also how powerful this is. Marcel, can you tell me your wildest vacation fantasy. Where would you like to go more than anywhere else in the world? God, I wish. By the way, Marcel, is this streaming live on? This is streaming live on LinkedIn right now, right?
Yes, sure.
Are people like commenting? Can I like go and see it, or if people are commenting on it live?
Yes,
right now?
you see this in the comment section in.
Can you? I know this is gonna sound so bizarre.
Here, Mr. Blanket say Bali.
He said Bali. He wants to go to Bali. Okay. Is he the only person that's talking right now, or is there other comments?
No, I think I see no other comments at the moment.
Okay, perfect. He said Bali. Thank you. So Bali is very specific. All right, let's type it in. What was his name?
Mr. Blanket.
Mr. Blanket. All right, Mr.
Mr.
Blanket. You want to go to Bali? Let's send you to Bali.
Oh, now we see more. India, Santorini. Yeah, a lot. It would be more.
All right. Well, if someone's going to Bali, Mr. Blanket, I want to send you to the luxury beach resort getaway. You just typed in Bali. Actually, I don't even think Mr. Blanket saw how fast that was. All right, Mr. Blanket, look closely. I'm going to hit search and notice how quickly the results change. Boom. Like milliseconds, and you got, boom, you're on your way to Bali, Mr. Blanket. And unless he was just saying that's where he's from. If so, never mind. If you're in the chat, Marcel's going to read them. Tell me your wildest vacation fantasy. Don't say a place. Say like you want to see a castle. You want to like go skiing. You want to eat a dragon. I don't care. Throw it in the chat.
I like Scotland. Scotland is the nicest place in the world.
I know, but that's so. I'm sorry. That's just too easy for this. I want a hard problem. give me something good, people. Like you want to give me an activity. What is the most interesting activity you want to do on your vacation? Go crazy. Maybe you want to like learn to surf in a volcano. Whatever you want.
A tea ceremony.
They said tea ceremony.
Yeah, I say tea ceremony.
Okay, wait, Marcel. Are you saying tea ceremony, or are they saying tea ceremony?
No, I said.
Oh, you said it. Okay.
Yeah.
Man, I wish I could see the comments. All right. If you're in the comments, please type it. And if Marcel doesn't read it, then like he's Marcel.
Here's Mr. Blanket said ski in Greenland on the Mount Fussy.
You know what? We're gonna do skiing tea ceremony. That's what we're gonna do for you.
Yeah.
So let's try that. Cool. We got a couple options here. You're gonna have to buy the skiing in the Alps package, and then I'm gonna need you to buy the wellness retreat package. All right. Now, as you can tell here, like boom, the point is very, very powerful. And look, the word tea, it figured out that it needs to be a spa. I hope you're starting to see. And look, gourmet food and wine tour also came up. So, in all of this, I want to show you one more thing that I think makes this super powerful. Is that a lot of people complain that Copilot Studio can be obviously sometimes unreliable. LLMs in general can be unreliable. But one thing you do get when you use this, when you use Azure AI Search, is you can combine, you can do something called a hybrid search. So in here, where is it? I think I have a slide for it. Hybrid search. Cool. It combines determining listing logic with AI. Let me show you. So in here, I have package name. Let's say, even though I needed to do machine learning, I needed to do an AI search on skiing tea ceremony, there is a word that I absolutely need in my results. So let's say I 100% want the word tour in my results. So what's going to happen in the code is, it is going to do my vector search, my AI search. We've all been seeing that. But next, it's going to make sure that it has to match the word tour inside of name. This is non-negotiable. This is a deterministic search. So you'll notice here that it's not going to be guessing. The word tour has to be in the results. So if I click search, boom, look at this. Tour in here, tour in here. That's the power of a hybrid search. So some of your stakeholders, they say, well, raise your hand, Mr. Blanket. Has this happened to you where your stakeholders don't trust AI? They worry that it's unreliable. In those cases, this is your answer to them. You could say, hey, we're going to use AI search here, but down here, we're using deterministic logic. We're going to use hybrid search. And so that's the power we have here. Let's say also I have 5 results. Let's say I want to increase it to 10. So in here, I'm going to make it, let's say we want the word hotel, but I only want 10 results. Again, this is deterministic. This is deterministic. Let's search. Cool. 10. I'll make it clearer for you. Let's drop it down to 2. Boom. See that? It forces it to be deterministic here and here, but not here. This can use AI. That's one of the many reasons I love Azure AI Search is just how configurable we have a question. That's awesome.
Yeah, from Mr. Blanket, and the question is, why 2 fields can I combine?
Yes, you can combine them, but do you want to? If you combine them, like, how does it know which one you want to be AI and which one do you want to be deterministic? That's why you separate them. You want to say, hey, this is non-negotiable. For instance, I could change this to price, and then for price, you don't want an LLM search. There's no reason for it. If someone types in the price, I don't know, 1900, you want that price to appear. You don't want the LLM to guess. Mr. Blanket, does that make sense?
So, or one text field with an with a Boolean mark on, especially, or both. No?
Oh, I see. For sure. You could put it in one, and then you could switch, like, be deterministic or be AI. For sure, you can do that. Yep. Absolutely, Mr. Blaine. But it's like, yeah, you can do that. What I'm showing here is if you just want both at the same time. Because a lot of people, if you've been to Airbnb, you search on a lot of stuff. Seattle, in this price range, I have 2 kids. So we're kind of imitating that experience. Sweet. All right. Next, let's get even more advanced here. And by the way, I don't know how many people are here. I assume it's just Mr. Blanket. So Mr. Blanket, just for you, we got these slides for you here, which is for comparing Azure AI Search and out-of-the-box Dataverse Search. Out-of-the-box Dataverse Search is good because there's no configuration required. It queries relationships well, supports and okay. So I'm telling you all this, but I don't know if you believe me. Let me show you, because I feel like I've insulted Dataverse. I want to show you how good it actually can be. Let's ask it this question. This question that Azure AI Search can't do, we're going to go ask that to Dataverse over here. How many outdoor activities have instructors that are older than 41? Let's ask that to Dataverse. And Dataverse is usually really good at this. I've been very impressed with this. There are 6 outdoor activities. You seeing that? Azure AI Search couldn't do this. Dataverse is very good at this because what it does is it takes this, and I believe what it's doing is it's converting it to fetch XML. So it can't do semantic meaning, but it can do these more fetch XML-like queries. So let's pop in another one. I have a few more here. Let's ask it a long one. Which outdoor activities are of low danger level and blah, blah, blah. This one's complicated. All right. Which outdoor activities are of low danger level, have instructors older than 20, and the instructor has certification for animal safety? Let's see what we got. And it should be fairly accurate. Remember, what I'm making it do is this is 1 table, 2 tables, 3 tables. I'm making it, I think I have the representation here. I'm making it go from instructors to certifications to outdoor activity. That's a lot of jumps, but Dataverse is very good at that. So in here, hiking, sailing, it nailed it. Both classify as low danger level. Like, yeah. So although at the beginning, when it comes to finding word matches or keyword matches, it's like it's not very good at that at all. But it is quite good at this. I will say this. If you want the semantic meaning I shared earlier, like you want it so the word hotel appears for the word house, you want all of that, no system is good at that. You have to use some kind of vectorization. When you work with very high data counts, that's really your only option if you want to do any kind of search. There's like no other way around it because the data is so big. God, I wish I had, I only have 5 more minutes. So If I had more time,
we have another question. We have another question.
Oh, we do?
And now
Who's it
from J. Lula David. And the question is, can we combine the database connector with the Azure AI agent search in the same Copilot agent? And how will that affect the results?
Ooh, he's asking, can we combine the Azure AI search agent with the Dataverse out of the box agent?
Yeah, with the Azure AI search.
Yeah, so you can, yeah, that's the thing you might have missed it. I demoed that earlier. That was over here where I connected, that's his question, right? Connecting Azure AI search to Copilot Studio? Or he's saying...
he wants a combination of both. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah. He wants to combine the results, this, and then find the best of both worlds. Yeah. You absolutely can. Copilot Studio is not very good at that. That's like a lot for it to piece. Like if you try to do that in here using like different tools and topics, like it's going to start to become really slow. Here are other options that I think are better for you. In here, I think I have a slide for it to achieve your goal. At the bottom, tell me I put it in. Yeah. In Azure AI Search, you have this topic called Agentic Retriever, where what it does is it takes your search results from Azure AI Search and it puts it in a large language model, and then it spits out the results there. So that's more what you're looking for, because it's using LLM, which is what you want, and it's using just the Azure AI Search. So that's one way to combine them. But I know what you're specifically asking. You're specifically asking, can I use, like this is cool, but I want AI search type searching and Dataverse like searching, and I have the solution for that. Let me show you. So one thing you can do is, by the way, you have to go custom if you want this to work well. And I'll explain why. I think I have a video for it. Cool. So over here, I have an Azure function based agent. And over here, I have just the Dataverse MCP server. So if we compare the results, I ask it this question of how many group the hotels based on how many fall in these three price categories: 11,000, 1,200, 1,500, 700, 1,800. This question to group data, to ask that to Copilot Studio is actually a pretty hard question for it to solve. Because what you're asking it to do is you want it to go in and look at all of these and group them by price. That's a lot. So the MCP server is actually pretty impressive. It can do that. But if I start asking it questions of like, what are the top 5 most expensive hotels with the word hotel in the name? When we start doing this and start asking these questions, we'll notice that it starts to become, as you can tell, look, inaccurate. It can't solve it. But look over here. So again, this is the out of the box one. The Azure function, hey boss, what are the top 5 most hotels with the whole word hotel? The top 5 most expensive hotels is blah, 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 blah. The Azure function can solve it. And don't worry, James, I'm getting to your question of how, because you're probably wondering, what is this Azure function doing? Why is it more reliable than this? So the next question is, pretend age is now. As I ask this more difficult questions, you will see that the MCP server is giving different results than what the Azure function is. And the Azure function, I've tested this, very reliable, giving me the results I wanted. And MCP is doing its best, but it can't keep up. So in this case, animal safety and water sports is the answer. But in this case, it only found just scuba diving. It didn't even get there correctly. So that's one of the things where the Azure function is more powerful. And I'll explain how it works. Like, what is this Azure function I made for Copilot Studio? Well, here's what's going on. What I'm doing is my agent is calling a Power Automate flow. My Power Automate flow is calling an Azure function, okay? And then it's responding back. Here's what my Azure function is doing. Copilot Studio goes to my Azure function. What my Azure function does is, I think, very similar to what you want it to do. I was tired of guessing what Copilot Studio is doing with Dataverse, so I built my own connector, for lack of better words. The Azure function, first, it finds all the relevant tables related to the question. So if the question is, which hotels are good for a tea ceremony and I can have cheese, like that, it's going to find all the relevant tables first. So cheese tea ceremony, I need to look at hotels. Maybe I need to look at the allergies table. So it gets that from Dataverse. Then it takes the question and converts it to SQL. And then it sends that request to Dataverse, and then it gets the result back. So James, to your question, because I want custom here, what I can do is, besides doing all of this, I can also add Azure AI Search here. So James, to do the, Marcel, his name is James, right?
No, Jay, but it's okay.
Jade, I'm sorry. Jade, in this case, if you want to pull off what you're trying to do, I would suggest going here and building an Azure function for it that will connect it to. Now, if you never
no,
Azure,
no, David. Sorry, David.
Name's David. Okay,
Because
David,
I saw only there was a Geo before his name is David.
It's all right. I appreciate Marcel. But by the way, Marcel did not know I would involving him. He did not know he was a co-presenter in this session. So David, I would suggest an Azure function. Marcel, am I allowed to promote my stuff where I explain this, or no? Should I just wrap it up?
So I really like this example. So could you show us a little bit of the stuff behind of it?
Let me show you. All right. I'll just hop into like where the tutorial is on it. All right. So I have it here in my training program. In here, I have it advanced Dataverse queries. Cool. All right. So in here is where, this is, by the way, our course. If you wanted, this is the course that Marcel's been advertising. So in here is where we build the Azure function, and then I will show that in here. Then there's a link to a GitHub repository, and the GitHub repository, let me actually do the preview version of this and we can see it. Cool. So it takes a second to load. Come on, do the thing. Let me turn off the sound. Let me make this big. I know it's probably weird seeing me twice, but go with it. First, you build it in Visual Studio Code. You set all this up. You obviously need Git. Then once you have the function built out, come on. The first thing it's going to do is it's going to generate the SQL that's needed for your request to Dataverse. And then the first thing it's going to do is get the database schema. That's what I was saying earlier. You want to go to SQL and get it. Then it's going to do an operation called run SQL query. David, in here, you could also do another one that's called run Azure AI Search. You can have all of that. And then at the end, once it runs all of this, and then you set this all up, you're going to need an app registration and some other tools. And then in the end, once you have all this, let me see if I have an example here. Oh, this is probably the coolest part. When I run this command, I have step-by-step debugging. So in Copilot Studio, you have no idea what it's doing when it makes the request. But when you build the Azure function, you can step through every step of the way where it's going through here. Here is what it's getting from Dataverse. And then the operation, here's the user's question. We step into the next phase. And once we step to that one, it gives us our result. How many outdoor activities have instructor result over than 50? This is how more or less high level. I know I only had a minute. I think I'm going on over time. That's how you build that Azure function. If you want just the full tutorial here, just message me on LinkedIn. We could talk about it, but this is just one of the many things we teach. So, Marcel, I think I'm totally over time.
So no problem, no problem. So we have a question from Mr. Blanket.
Mr. Blanket's back in the house. Yeah, what's up?
What about security? You want external people to be able to search your database, right?
Yeah, that's up to you, but that's a great question. So, do you want external people to say? Well, yeah, if you're selling like shoes or something, you probably want, or you're selling all your Microsoft services, for sure, you would want to give them that option. That's a common use. It's why Power Pages exists, to make your data public facing. Great question, Mr. Blanket.
I think we can take 5 minutes if you want to show something. So, but when I need to move to Daniel Christian session.
Oh, sure.
Because it's an other StreamYard link.
Okay, sweet. So we're wrapping up. So I guess I'll say one more final thing for everyone that was here. In general, I had one more when I wanted to show like how you can actually automate all of your emails and how you can have pretty much AI reading your emails and then crafting responses for you. That's something we've been doing a lot in our business. So whenever people message us and ask certain things like, hey, I'm interested in becoming a solutions architect. By the way, this is my email. If any of you want to reach out to me, it's right there. People say like, hey, I'd like to be a Power BI solutions, blah, 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 blah. We've built certain agents that find the best response based on this answer from everything I said. We respond back to them. And this we found to be very helpful with our with responding to a lot of our potential students and participants. We've explored a lot with using GPT-4o with no fine-tuning, with fine-tuning, with heavy prompting. We've explored all of that, and I'll just kind of give away the answer. Fine-tuning a model actually isn't as powerful as you think. Using heavy prompting, we found to be a lot more successful. Again, reach out to me directly if you're curious about all of this, and I could explain more. Other than that, I want to say a big thank you to Marcel for inviting me on the M365 conference, being on the show in general, and overall it's been a lot of fun. So I hope you're all we stay in touch. Mr. Blanket and David.
and David.
Yeah.
So
David.
but David said Jay is also fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Jay James.
So I think we had a lot of questions, so I wouldn't take a question too. So I really like the session because you take the topics that are not so, I think, so often in the focus of the most developers. That's like in your ad video, your promotion video, and this is the thing that makes I think an good Power Platform expert to an amazing Power Platform expert, and that's why I think they should book you.
I appreciate that. It's what we talk about is I think there's a lot of marketing. We don't care about marketing. We're like, here are the tools that work. Here's the ones that don't. Here's what you need to know.
Yeah, that is a really good way. So for today, I think we need to close. So I want to thank you. I think it was a really, really, really nice session. So and a little bit interactive for me. So no problem. So our next session is Daniel Christian with how Copilot Studio turned me into an AI agent believer. I think this would be really cool. So we see us back again in 8 minutes. And yeah, Sean, have a nice day. I think for you, it's the start of a day. You have a full day for you. And we see us again. Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Sean, and I train people to become Power Platform Solutions Architects. If you're watching this, you know Power Platform, but be honest. When you're building a solution, are you using the best tools to solve the problem or just the tools you know? If you love building powerful, scalable solutions that make your company money, let me share why our training is different. We've noticed that the best architects know a series of best practices and they apply them to every project. So we took all these best practices and put them into this course.